Let it be. But me, your man, Louie T, welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up and take command. I, of course, am your Commander-in-Chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Tonight's going to be an interesting show because not a lot is really going on. We are in the midst of OTAs. Today was the final day of OTAs. And so, not a lot to really glean from OTAs. They'll meet back up on the 31st of May, I believe, and have a little mini camp session then. Then there'll be one more, I believe, in the early portion of June, like June 10th through the 12th, something like that. So they'll meet a couple more times before they break away, and then they don't come back together again until late July for training camp. But again, the biggest takeaways to start right now is just, I know you guys saw the picture of them stretching on the football field, and Carson Wentz is standing in the quarterback stretch line next to Taylor Heineke as they're stretching. Heineke looks like he's 5'8", and Carson Wentz looks like he's 7'2". Okay, I mean, it is the craziest picture because everyone this week has been talking about just how big, Carson Wentz is, height-wise. Like, and then, his shoulders are really broad, and, Antonio Gibson talked about that. And I think that's something that sneaks up on you because, the dude's 6'5". The dude's 230. He's a big dude. Like, he's not, what we have been accustomed to here of late at the quarterback position, with the Case Keenums and the Colt McCoys and the Taylor Heinekes of the world. This dude he looks the part of, for the job that he's playing of quarterback in the NFL. So people off guard, and everyone talking about his arm strength. Again, we haven't had a lot of that here. Dwayne could zip it, right? But it wasn't always the most accurate. They're talking about the accuracy. They're talking about the arm strength, and so all of these things, I think a lot of these players, because of what they've had to endure here at the quarterback position, they're not accustomed to this, okay? When you obviously Terry hasn't worked with him yet, but I guarantee you there will be a difference between, what he's had to deal with since he's gotten here. Kyle Allen, like I said, Dwayne is the only guy comparable arm strength-wise, arm talent-wise. But, all the other guys, the arm strength isn't necessarily their strong suit. So I think that's something that caught a lot of people off guard. But all in all, I think some of that, in the reminder by hearing everyone talk about Carson Wentz, and again, it's OTAs, don't make too much of any of this stuff. But, just listening to everyone talk about Carson Wentz and, the excitement of what he brings to the table, because again, I could care less about Jahan Dotson. I could care less about Brian Robinson or Cole Turner or any of the offensive additions that we've made, whether it be Trey Turner or, Andrew Norwell on the offensive line. I could care less about any additions to this offense if we still had a broken quarterback position. And we still may have one, right? But just the thought of us potentially having a chance to fix this thing, to have a chance to get it right, it instills hope in a fan that, I've never been hopeless. There have been times where I'm like, I don't know how we're going to get out of this thing. We're in a rut, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it. Right after we fired Jim Zorn, I was like, how in the hell are we going to get out of this thing? Like, no one wants to come here. And then Mike Shanahan showed up, and I was like, wow, how did Dan pull that off? And then after Dan and that whole relationship with the Shanahans soured and really was disintegrated, I was like, well, who's going to come in here now? Like, you just wrecked another Hall of Fame head coach. Like, who's coming in here now? And I was shocked that they not shocked, but Jay Gruden was the first-time head coach, but I was shocked that we were able to turn it around under Jay Gruden. I just figured, oh, man, this is going to be bad. And that first year was rough, but that was the year we had to purge ourselves of Robert Griffin III. He was brought here to fix Griffin, And he had to tell them, I can't do this. Okay. He had to eviscerate them along the way. Some people thought it was unnecessary. I was perfectly fine with it. You want to play with fire, you're going to get burned. But to win in 15 and have every opportunity to win in 16 under Jay Gruden, there have been some times 19 was as low as I've been as a fan, because again, I didn't expect Ron Rivera to show up. I didn't expect us to find a head coach with chops. I thought we were going to have to go the Jay Gruden route again and just hope and pray that we didn't get a lame duck, dud of a coach that's never done it before. And Ron Rivera shows up and he's willing to take on the task of being the head coach here of the Washington Redskins, then Washington football team, now Commanders. And it's not an easy job. There's a lot that this job entails. And, this is not cut out for every head coach in the league. Trust me, and I think Ron has handled it as beautifully as anyone could have handled the situation that he's been placed in, and is currently handling it well. And so, it would have been bittersweet had we made some of these, additions to the team. What I would have told myself, what I would have said to try to make me sleep better at night. Well, this is what you have to do in order to build the roster up and then drop the quarterback in the middle. Like this is what you do, right? I feel like we've done that now. This is our attempt at being the Buffalo Bills. This is our attempt at being the Seattle Seahawks. This is our attempt at building the roster up, having the infrastructure already complete, and then dropping the quarterback in the middle and taking off. This is it. This is what we've been building towards since Ron took the job back in 2020. He started out by building this roster with depth. Then he started to get players that he felt like were frontline talents, guys that are starters. And now I think he feels like he's polished off. They went to the free agent well last offseason, got some more guys that they deemed to be top line, starters, frontline guys. And now they're hoping everything clicks and comes to fruition. And I think, polished it off with another draft class that they think is going to come in and help them immediately. And so the excitement for me is beginning to build, because now we have a quarterback. And again, that's the key. And again, we don't know how good he's going to be, right? In my mind, and this is what I'm telling myself, for all the Carson Wentz detractors and haters out there that think he stinks and it's not going to work. And you may be right. Okay. I'm not here to poo-poo you. I'm not here to look down my nose at you. I'm here to say that you may be right, but he can't be any worse than what we've dealt with at the quarterback position the last 3-4 years. That's essentially what I'm here to tell you, is you may ultimately be right. Carson Wentz may ultimately stink for us. His time as a elite level NFL starter or a guy that we feel like you can get by with in this league may be done. It may have come and gone. I don't think that's the case. And I think his performance last year in Indianapolis kind of bears that out. No, he was not great down the stretch after he got COVID-19, but he played well enough to lead that Colts team to the postseason. They just didn't get it done as a team. No, he wasn't good against the Raiders, but the defense had a chance after Wentz and the offense went down the field and got a field goal to take the lead. He had a chance. The defense had a chance to stop the Raiders from getting any points and winning that game and securing a postseason berth. They did not do that. Okay, the next week against Jacksonville, no, the offense was terrible. But guess what? The defense wasn't great, and they allowed Jacksonville to score points, and they lost that football game. So at the end of the day, that was a collective effort, them failing to make the postseason down the stretch. Wentz himself was not good. He admitted that. And at the end of the day, I think he's a good enough quarterback to get us where we want to go, but he can't be any worse. He can't be any worse than Dwayne. He can't be any worse than a one-legged Alex Smith. He can't be any worse than Kyle Allen. He can't be any worse than Taylor Heineke. He just can't. I'm convinced of that. So worst case scenario, Heineke at times last year was outstanding, but he was also awful at times. We won 7 games against a murderer's row schedule. If you can win 7 games with all the injuries that we had and dealing with COVID and the murderer's row schedule that we played, and you do it with Taylor Heineke, you're telling me with this schedule and a better roster and a better quarterback, you can't win more than 7 games. It's hard for me to stomach that. It's hard for me to believe that. And that's why I'm getting excited, because I look at this offense. I don't see any holes on this offense. If we can find a way to get the tight end position up to speed. I look at the running back position. I'm excited about the running back position. I look at the wide receiver position. This is as excited about the wide receiver position as I've ever been, and that includes Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, and Jamison Crowder. This is as excited as I've been about a wide receiving core as I've been as a Washington football team or Washington Commanders fan, because we literally can go 5 deep at the receiver position. So at one point, we didn't have any speed at receiver. Then we had one guy that could run. Last year, we had 2 guys that could run. And if you want to throw DeAndre Carter in there, fine. 3 guys that could run. Now we have a legitimate 4 guys that can run, okay? Because Curtis Samuel didn't count last year. It was just De'Ami Brown and Terry McLaurin. And if you want to throw DeAndre Carter in there, fine. Now we got a legitimate 4 guys between Terry, Curtis, De'Ami, and now Jahan. If one of these guys goes down, if 2 of these guys go down, we still got 2 guys that can flat out fly. And you still got Cam Sims. So I just like what we're putting on the field at receiver now. I like the offensive line. I've liked the offensive line for a long time. You know, whether it was Brandon Sheriff and Eric Flowers or whatever the case may be, we've had a really solid group since Ron got here with John Masco. That group's always been top notch. They've gotten the job done with whomever was in there. So I got no worries about the offensive line, and never really have since Ron has gotten here. So the offensive line is solid. Okay. The receiving core makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. The running back position, I'm excited about that group, you know, and then now the quarterback position gives us a fighting chance. If we get the tight end position up to par, if Logan Thomas is healthy and we can keep him healthy, and everybody else can kind of fall into your slots, their proper slots at the tight end position, this could be a phenomenal season offensively, and that's really what's been holding this team back. I get it. The defense was atrocious for the first 8-9 games of the season last year, but you know what? The offense wasn't that much better. Only early in the season against New York and Atlanta were the offensive outputs good enough to win games when the defense didn't show up and do what it needed to do. This offense wasn't good enough in a lot of spots. If the offense was good enough, we would have beaten New Orleans. If the offense was good enough, we would have beaten Kansas City. If the offense was good enough, we would have beaten Green Bay. There were games there to be won, and this offense simply wasn't good enough. So if you tell me the offense is improved, whether the defense is what we think it should be or not, is really, for all intents and purposes, it's really not a big debate for me, okay? If the defense is just solid, this offense is improved. And I get it. You look at some of the numbers defensively last year, it was bad. But a lot of that damage was done in the first half of the season. You have to understand, when you look at, you know, the 27th ranked third down defense or whatever we were, 31st, it was atrocious. I get it. A lot of that was done. The damage was done, and it was irreparable. It was irreversible in the first 9 weeks of the season, when this defense was epically bad. So the defense wasn't, I don't think that was some of the numbers aren't a great representation of what this defense was when the season, you know, finished up. And yeah, we had some injuries, and, you know, we kind of regressed when the injuries and COVID hit. It really, you know, sent this team into a tizzy. But we saw what we could be against Tampa Bay, which is a high octane offense. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Look, that Carolina Panthers team with Cam Newton, they were starting to ascend, and they had just come off of a sound thrashing of the Arizona Cardinals, who at the time was like the best team in the NFC. They beat them like 34-6, and they were rolling, and we had to go into Carolina. Cam's first game back. You knew the crowd was going to be raucous. It was going to feel like there were Washington fans at that game that hit me up on socials and was like, yo, it feels like a playoff atmosphere. The crowd is that jacked for Cam Newton returning home. And we went there, and the offense was good, and the defense was even better, and we came out with the dub. There were games last year when this defense stood up and gave us a chance. none bigger than the Seattle game on a Monday night and the Raiders game when the offense went to sleep. The offense was sleep, and the defense had to hold both of those opponents to 15 points for us to get wins. Okay? So again, the offense needs to be better. The defense, no, it was not great all last season. But if the offense was better in 3 or 4 games, hell, the first game of the season, if Antonio Gibson doesn't fumble, look, I don't know what would have happened if he doesn't fumble. If we don't get a first down there, we were already pinned inside our own 5-yard line. He fumbled on second down. If we, don't gain another yard on third down and we got to punt from our own end zone and they get great field position, the way they were moving the football, they probably would have punched the son of a bitch in anyway. However, they had struggled in the red zone in that game. Herbert threw an interception. Herbert fumbled in the end zone. So who knows what would have happened? They might have missed a chip shot field goal. Anything could have happened, but we didn't allow that to happen. And so, again, the offense was anemic at times last season. The first Dallas game, the offense was a joke. The offense was a joke. It was laughable. And we were riding a 4-game heater coming into that game. And they couldn't block Micah Parsons. They looked inept. We couldn't even complete a damn pass. We were a joke for 2/3 of that football game offensively. If we could correct that, if we could be better on offense, are you kidding me? So that's kind of where I am, is I'm getting excited. I'm not going to allow myself to go off the deep end. Trust me, I'm going to reel myself back in before the season starts. All right, this is just that brand new fresh car scent that's coming out of Washington right now with these OTAs and everybody drooling over Carson Wentz, because we don't know what a real quarterback looks like in Washington. So when we see something that resembles what a real NFL starting quarterback is supposed to look like, we don't know how to act. That's why I'm going off right now. I'm tripping because we haven't seen one of these since Robert Griffin III in 2012. Yeah, we don't really know. Like, Kirk Cousins was cool, but we didn't. There was a reason that a lot of you didn't love him. There was a reason. Okay, so that's why I'm so excited. I feel like everything that I've talked about for the last 3 years, and remember when Ron first took this job, I said, give him 3 years. My guy JP wanted him to win right out of the gates. JP wanted him to win in 2020. JP wanted him to win in 2021. JP wanted to fire him when we were struggling in his first year, fire everybody, and I'm like, yo, the dude just got here. What did you expect? Right? Like, give him some time. And then everybody, bought in hook, line, sinker last year and fell for the Ryan Fitzpatrick, banana in the tailpipe. And I said, look, I don't think this is going to go the way you think it's going to go. And I was dying to see Taylor Heineke. So I'm glad we got to see Heineke. I didn't want to live with the what if. Now we know he's a outstanding NFL backup. He is not a starting quarterback. And that's fine. That's great. And so now I think everything that we needed to do to get us to this point, we've done. We went through the backup quarterback thing just to make sure we check that box to say, hey, what if? No more what ifs about Taylor Heineke. We know what he's capable of. And we're fine with that coming off the bench if need be. And so now I've talked about, hey, let's build the infrastructure. Let's make sure that we're stout on the offensive line. Let's make sure the receiving core is ready to go. Let's make sure the running backs can handle the workload. Let's make sure the tight end position is legit. Let's make sure the defensive line is ready to rock and roll. Let's get some help for the linebacking core. Let's get the secondary up to speed. We've done just about everything in every one of those areas. Maybe sans for linebacker. You could argue there's no argument there. We don't have enough depth. Even Ron himself has said, I need another veteran linebacker on this football team. He's not comfortable with the depth, nor should he be. We're not a deep team at the linebacker position, and that's our own doing. We did not address it in the draft. We ignored it as if it didn't exist. And, there's only so much you can do. We had 8 picks. They didn't expect to spend one of their draft picks on a quarterback. That's not what they intended to do. But when Sam Howell was still there staring them in the face with the very first pick of the 5th round, they just couldn't help themselves. I don't blame them. Okay. So maybe that was going to be the pick they spent on a linebacker. They spent it on a quarterback. What are you going to do? You go to Best Buy, you're looking for a new keyboard and then you see a computer that's sitting there cheap as hell in a good quality brand of computer, and you say, why buy just the keyboard when I can buy a whole new computer that comes with the keyboard? So you buy that instead. You didn't expect to walk in and walk out with a new computer, okay? You just wanted a keyboard. But guess what? That computer was too good of a deal to pass up. That's essentially what happened in the 5th round. They walked into the 5th round expecting to draft a linebacker. They saw a quarterback on sale. They couldn't help themselves. They got the quarterback. I don't blame them, but the linebacker position is the one position on the team that I look at and I say, if we have any injuries, we are in trouble. Everywhere else, I feel good about some semblance of depth. Cornerback is still a little bit of a question mark. I think they're going to roll with Corn Elder, okay, as a veteran corner to give them a little bit of depth. Last year it was Roberts. I think this year it's going to be Corn Elder. And I still am convinced that, you know, that if there's one more cornerback spot, and again, I don't know how they feel about Danny Johnson, if Danny's going to make this team or not, but if they're going to go with another corner, there could be another spot available at the cornerback position, you know, whether it be the 7th round pick rookie or, you know, one of these undrafted dudes. They just signed an undrafted dude a week ago or so that they're really impressed with at the rookie mini. So we'll see what they do at corner, but I still like the depth that we have at corner. I don't love it, okay? I love the depth we have at receiver. I love the depth we have at running back. I love the depth we have on the offensive line, okay? I like the depth we have at safety and at cornerback, okay? I do not like, nor am I comfortable with the depth at linebacker. That's the one spot. Even the defensive line, it's not as deep. The defensive end position is much better off now with the addition of F.A. Obata. And, you know, James Smith-Williams is a guy I told you I'm very comfortable with. So now you have a rotation of 4 defensive ends. I feel good there. The defensive tackle position is definitely one that they're going to have to do something at. I do not think the answer in terms of depth is already on the roster. But they've already, you know, brought in a guy in Fedarian Mathis via the draft. Now I think they've got one more guy they need to sign. And after that, I'll feel comfortable with the depth at defensive tackle. You know, the only position that I'm looking at right now and saying I'm not comfortable, it is mandatory that we stay healthy, is at linebacker. If something were to occur there, we could be in a heap of trouble from that standpoint. But all in all, I'm getting excited. You can tell, you can hear it in my voice. Again, it's the OTA excitement. It's not excitement that's going to, you know, bleed into the training camp period. I'm going to start to temper my expectations because, again, I'm not going to get excited. Last year, I got really excited for the preseason. And I told you this is the most excited I've been for the preseason. To hell with that. Last year, I think teams shitting on the preseason and passing on it all together gave me a new perspective on the preseason. And really, to hell with what everybody else is doing. Because what is good for one team isn't necessarily good for another. Because the Rams passed on the preseason last year doesn't mean we have a license to pass on the preseason and not play any of our starters and we'll be just fine and we'll have a chance to win the Super Bowl. That's not how it works. They had a plan. They implemented it. They got it done. And they were able to go through preseason football without playing any of their starters. I think that's going to be a new trend. After seeing what happened to J.K. Dobbins and seeing some of the teams kind of massage the preseason and use it as nothing more than an audition for some of their younger guys and allowing the veterans to sit on the side and watch, that may be the new trend in the league. But that's not how everybody's going to approach the preseason. And honestly, I don't think that's how every team should. Some teams can, others can't. At the end of the day, I can't allow myself to get caught up in the preseason like I did last year because Chase Young got a sack on Cam Newton on the first possession of the first preseason game, and I lost my shit, and I started talking about 16, 17 sacks because he's got it. He's got it now. That's a move I didn't see him use last year. He's ready. And then the man came out and went 10 games and had a sack and a half. I'm not doing that shit no more. So, honestly, yeah, I remember I want to say it was 2014. I got excited. You know, Jay Gruden got here, Robert Griffin III in that offense. First possession, I want to say it was against the Buffalo Bills. first possession of the game in the first preseason game, and it might have been 2012. I don't know, but they marched it right down the field, scored a touchdown, took the starters out. I was like, shit, this looks like a well-oiled machine. I'm ready. The offense was abysmal in 2014. So, and I might have my years mixed up, but I've been bamboozled by the preseason before, so I'm not doing that shit anymore. So if this team wants me to really go all in, and once I go all in, there's no turning back, okay? You guys saw that last year when we won 4 in a row, and I started talking cold, hard cash and embarrassed myself, okay? They're going to have to win and win big early for me to really say, all right, these boys are ready. They're going to have to dispose of Jacksonville and Detroit in short order in the first 2 weeks. They have to take care of business against Philadelphia in week 3. And then the real measuring stick, really, the week 3 contest against Philadelphia, even if we start 2-0 and we're impressive in those 2 games, which I'm not holding my breath. I just want to win. I don't care if it's a 1-point victory in both of those games. I just want to win them. The real measuring stick will be the next 2 weeks, Philadelphia and then at Dallas, because Philly is a team that everyone thinks is going to be really good in the division this year. They went to the playoffs last year. They had a hell of an offseason. So the expectations are through the roof for the Eagles. That's going to be a measuring stick game. If we take care of business there, then the next measuring stick is Dallas. We don't win there very often. And they won the division last year. They're going to probably be picked to win the division again this year. If not picked to win it, they're going to be probably picked to be second place. They got the best quarterback in the division. They're still a well-oiled machine despite losing so many offensive weapons. They still have the capability of being explosive on offense. We saw what their defense can be last year. Dan Quinn is back. It's year 2 of that system. They're probably feeling even more confident about what they can be defensively. That's going to be a tough test on the road in a place that we struggle. So you really want people to get on board. Start, like I said before, start the season off 4-0, 3-1. All right, that'll get people on board and really excited and juiced up for the season. But I'm not going to be one of those people that are going to try to sell you on a dream. I told you this schedule says 11, 12 wins. I already told you that. But just because the schedule says that doesn't mean that's what the team is going to actually do. And we all know that this team is capable of losing games that they should win or games that they had chances to win but didn't know how to close the show. We're hoping it's different this time around. And the thing that I'm hoping is different that gives us a chance is the quarterback position. So we're going to see. I'm excited about, all of that, but I did somewhat on my show that I had earlier today that I put out, pretty much say that I was complicit in the Daron Payne miscommunication because I didn't get all the facts myself. I ran with what I was told, and generally I'm better than that. Normally I say, really, did Daron really do that? And I do my homework and my due diligence, and I just ran with it. And it didn't sound like Daron. It didn't sound like something he would do. But again, when a dude is in a contract year and it's a contract situation, all bets are off. I mean, we all feel like, well, Terry's not that kind of a guy. Terry's going to do what's best for him, and Terry's trying to get his bread. So everything changes when money, becomes involved. So, I was complicit. I was like, man, Daron Payne left practice today. And I had to come back and clean that shit up. I made a mess and I needed to clean it up. And I appreciate Rasheed Bryant for dropping that gem on my melon, pretty much explaining to me, bro, it's not what you think. It's not how Ben Standig made it sound. This man literally sat out of team drills. He did not leave the facility. He participated in everything else that happened the rest of the day. Everything that happened before team drills, everything that happened after team drills. He was a part of that. The thumbnail that you see for this video is from the second day of OTAs when the man was literally laughing in the stretch line. Like, shit's all good over here, man. Everything's good over here, bro. All right. If you think it's something else going on over here, you were goofy, and hey, I ain't even mad at him. I'm not mad at him. And I just had to make sure I came in here and offered up a 00. Okay, I was wrong about that situation. There's nothing to see here. Because I was like, hey, keep your ears to the street, keep your eyes open. This could be a situation that festers into something much bigger. That ain't even who Daron Payne is. I don't know the man personally, but just having watched from afar for the last, 4 years, that's not even who that dude is. That's not even in his DNA. Dude is soft-spoken, probably similar to Montez Sweat. Soft-spoken when he gets around people he doesn't know. When he's around people he's comfortable with, I'm pretty sure he's very talkative, fun-loving, jokester, all of that good stuff. But, he keeps to himself. He ain't really out here trying to ruffle no feathers. And so that didn't even sound like Daron Payne, man. And I don't know why I allowed myself to get sucked into that nonsense. But, what's funny is I've seen more support for Daron Payne in the last week or so than I have for him in the last 2 years. When his name is surfaced in trade rumors and when we start talking about who we were going to re-sign on this defensive line. Can't re-sign everybody. Somebody's got to be the odd man out. At first, it was Jonathan Allen. Everybody wanted to trade Jonathan Allen. Everybody wanted to hey, Jonathan Allen is the one you can let walk away. And then they signed Jonathan Allen, and they're like, well, Jonathan's here. And then Jonathan put up some big numbers sack-wise, and everybody's like, oh, Jonathan's a beast. It's Daron Payne. It's Daron Payne that needs to go. Maybe it's not Daron Payne either. Maybe we all are pointing the finger at the wrong guy. Clearly, I feel like they've made up their mind already, and it's his job to change their mind. I think they've made up their mind on whether they want to retain the services of Daron Payne. Clearly, if it was something that was of importance to them, they would have, I think, been making a little bit more strides towards getting that done. I think they're more focused right now on just getting Terry done, and that's pretty much it. We'll see. I don't blame them. I've already said that I don't blame them for, feeling like he needs to show them a little bit more before they show him the money. So, again, if he has a big year this year, we know he's capable. It wouldn't be like Albert Hainsworth, essentially on that contract year where he just went ape shit. And then we were the team that decided to pay him all of that money. And he showed exactly who he really was. He showed his true colors once he got his bread. That's not going to be the case if Daron Payne balls out. If he balls out this year, all that means is this has been a long time coming. Guy's super talented. We know what he's capable of. He's just got to go out and show it consistently. So I'm anxious to see what he does this year. And we're going to need, some really big play from our defensive linemen, honestly speaking. We're going to need the D-line to step up. They were really underwhelming last year as a collective. We need those guys to step up in a major way this year. And Daron Payne's a part of that. I don't think he had a great year last year either. He had, like always, there were flashes. There were games where he was unblockable and he was the best defensive lineman, but those are too few and far between. He's better than that, and we know he's capable. We need him to go out and play the kind of football that we know he's capable of playing for 17 weeks. The one thing I can always say, and I always give my guy Derek B credit for this because he always brings it up, and he's 110% spot on, is that Daron Payne is durable. He's not a guy you worry about. And every single one of our defensive linemen have had significant injuries and have missed chunks of time on the football field. And Daron Payne has been the lone soldier that we've been able to rely on. So hopefully that stays the case. I said the same thing about Chase Roullier last year. And as soon as I said, look, I don't worry about center. Chase Roullier is durable, this, that, and the third. And then like a week or two later, Chase Roullier is done for the season. So I hope I didn't just, jinx anything. I'm going to go ahead and knock on some wood just in case. But, yeah, I feel really good about Daron Payne going into this contract, season. Let's see what he does. There's a lot of excitement. I'm not going to lie to you. Just listening to all the players talk, and there's, again, one common goal. Everybody's talking about winning. The time to win is now. And I want to say one more thing, one last thing, and then we'll take your comments. For those of you out there, and I told you I don't like talking about this because I already know how it's going to end. I've seen this movie before. I already know how it's going to end, so I don't really like bringing it up, but, you know, it bears mentioning. Daniel Snyder, Teflon Dan, right? The dude is over here playing rope-a-dope with y'all, man. Some of y'all like JP, who every time something comes out, Dan's ass is gone. This is it. And I'm like, JP, bro, you haven't learned your lesson yet. Like, when it comes to Daniel Snyder, you know, some of y'all are out here like Wile E. Coyote. It's like, bro, you've been chasing the Roadrunner for years, man. And he pulling the same charades and the same, chicanery and tomfoolery he been pulling on you for the last decade, and you still falling for the same shit, man. Like, how many times are you going to be ready to pounce on him? He's standing by the cliff, and he runs out of the way, and you running too fast, and you run off the cliff, and then you turn around, and you look like, uh-oh, I'm off the cliff, and you fall straight down. How many times is that going to have to happen? How many times are you going to set a trap of explosives and put some food there? He come, eat the food, run out of the trap. You like, how did the trap not blow up? You go down there to check for yourself, and the shit blow up. How many times you going to fall for the same damn trap? Like, Dan is not going anywhere. And the latest proof of that is this Bleacher Report article. The owners are counting votes. Oh, really? Well, let's just ask a couple of these owners, to which those owners responded, counting votes? Who counting votes? Are they counting votes? I damn sure didn't know, because nobody asked me how I felt. Well, there you have it. They ain't counting no goddamn votes. His ass ain't going no damn where. Okay? I can't explain this to you enough. All of these damn owners have skeletons in their closets. Jerry Jones has illegitimate kids. He's been sleeping with younger women for years. He's out here crashing cars. Jerry Jones does not want people going into his closet. There are skeletons buried from 30 years ago. They just had to get rid of a dude that was recording cheerleaders and shit and being a perv. There are skeletons in these owners' closets. Nobody wants their shit to have a light shined on. So, in order to protect themselves, they got to protect the other owners. They may not love them, and I'm pretty sure if you gave these other owners truth serum, they would probably tell you, we would prefer Daniel Snyder's ass to be gone. Okay? He's a sore eye for the league. He's running one of our flagship franchises into the ground. He's not doing the things we think that market should be doing, and it starts and ends with him. They would much rather his ass be out and get somebody more competent in there as the owner of this franchise. But you know what? In order to do that, they'd have to take a look in the mirror and open up their own closets, because if they can do it to him, they can do it to my ass. That's the thought. That's how rich people operate. That's why the rich always take care of the rich, because they're in a group together. And if they're coming after your ass, that means they're coming after mine next. And I got to protect my money. So they're not going to get rid of Dan again. I've said this. I'm sticking to this, because there is no smoking gun. There is no smoking gun. There is no hard evidence of Daniel Snyder committing some type of infraction. They've tried. The Washington Post, they've dug and they've dug and they've dug and they've interviewed and they've interviewed. They've tried. There's nothing there concrete. They've tried. They got nothing. They got some he said, she said. They got a couple of people making accusations, but there's no hard evidence, no hard proof. Even this financial thing that's come up, there may be validity to this. Or the guy that's talking about this could be a former scorned employee. I don't know what's true and what's not true. Do you have proof? I think the answer is no. And it's incredibly hard to prove the accusations that he's making. You actually need a paper trail. You actually need the books that he's speaking of. They got 2 separate books. Provide one of them to me so I can see. Show me the alternate books that they're keeping that shows they're withholding money from the rest of the league. He's not going to have proof of that. Dan is playing rope-a-dope, man. He may look tired. He may look beat up. He may look like he's on his last legs. The man isn't going anywhere. I've stopped fighting that fight. It's so exhausting fighting that fight, the Daniel Snyder fight. I instead choose to focus my energy on the field. And I know some of you feel like, well, that's exhausting as well, because as long as he's here, we're going to continue to lose. And you might be right. But at least I feel so much better focusing my energy on the product on the field than all of the bullshit that goes on off of it. Because honestly, I've told you this a million times. That's all I care about. All I care about is the on the field product. All I care about is winning. That's it. Yes, I will acknowledge and have acknowledged for a long time, winning gets a lot easier if you've got good ownership. But you can win despite not having great ownership. Teams do it all the time. It's a lot harder. You want to know why the New York Knicks stink every year? Ownership. You need to look no further than ownership with the New York Knicks. It stinks. And that stench, it creeps down into the locker room and onto the court. Same thing here. It's no different. But teams have won despite frugal owners, owners that are meddlesome. The Yankees won with George Steinbrenner. Now, it took them a while, right? But they won with George Steinbrenner. But a lot of that credit was given to Joe Torre. You know what I'm saying? It takes someone to come in there and change the tide. And I hope that guy is Ron Rivera. That's why I went with the Ron's plan approach, because if we're going to somehow overcome the dark cloud that's hanging over this organization that is named Daniel Snyder, it's going to take a difference maker as a head coach. I don't know if Ron Rivera is that guy or not. A lot of you have already made up your mind and said he's not. And that's fine. But he's doing the best he can. And this is the most confident I've felt about a roster and about a team going into a season since, I think 2016 was the last time I thought, hey, we ready. And then the Steelers came to town and showed me we weren't ready. But I didn't know what we were getting ourselves into in 2012. And I damn sure wasn't confident going into 2013 because Robert was coming off of an injury and I didn't think he should be ready all in for week 1. So the last time I was confident about this team was 2016. And we still should have made the playoffs that year. So we'll see what happens. But one thing's for sure, I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about Daniel Snyder. He's not going anywhere, guys. He's not on the ropes. He's not close to being out. These owners are like, what are you talking about? Votes? What votes? We didn't bring this to the table. We haven't spoken about this. We're not taking any votes. What votes are you talking about? Enough said. You don't need to say nothing else. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section, man. Appreciate y'all chopping it up with the kid tonight. Mob Squad, stand up. You know what it is. And I said I was going to start reading these anniversary messages because some of y'all have been Mob Squad members for quite a while. And so I want to just go through and start acknowledging some of y'all as Mob Squad members. Metaphor, been a member for 10 months. Stand up, Metaphor, man. You definitely been repping in the building as a member of the squad. 10 months and counting. My guy, Metaphor. That pretty much means my guy, CPJ, Carlton Bacano Jackson, 10 months, 10, an effing 10. Thank you for your membership. Greatly appreciate you. If you've been a member for 10 months, that means you pretty much been down with the MOBB. Yeah, you know me. Y'all been down with the MOBB since its inception, essentially. That's what that means. So I really, truly do appreciate you. He says, shout out to our mob and you, Lou. Hope all is well with you and yours. Much love, my brother. Likewise, Carlton Pagano Jackson. Likewise, man. Really do appreciate you. Metaphor, thank you for being a member for 10 months as well. Let me see if there's any more guys that are in here that have been members. Chill Dude, member for 10 months for Chill Dude. Thank you for your membership as well, man. I really, truly do appreciate you. Y'all been holding the kid down for so long, man. Oh, so long. And a lot more of you have for various amounts of time. I've seen 7, 8, 9 months. I've seen, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever length of time you've been a member of the mob. I appreciate you greatly. So I got to start reading. When these show up on my screen, I got to start knocking them down. They don't show up on my StreamYard screen. That's why I don't see it, but I do see it on the YouTube screen, which I have both of them up. So no excuses. I'm going to start knocking those down as well. Really do truly appreciate you guys for the support. Let's get to the comment section though. And we start off the night with Rob U. Thank you for the super chat, Rob U. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Rob U, writes, what up, Lou? What's up, Rob U? Says, love the Commanders Kings episode last week. I had a ton of fun doing it, man. It was a long time coming, and those guys were outstanding. He says, D-Pain has share of faults, but he is by far most durable defensive lineman, and he does possess elite run stuffing ability. That is facts. That is facts. Look, he's not the cleanest player. There are times where he gets out of his gap. There are times where he tries to make a play and plays behind blocks, opening up gaps, that shouldn't be there. Yeah, he's not without fault. I mean, and again, he's not what you would, perceive to be a dominant pass rusher, even though at times he's got dominant pass rusher qualities and traits. It's not consistent. So, yeah, he's not without fault. However, he's been the most durable and the most consistent defender we've had against the run. So there is value in Daron Payne. What is that value, however? What price tag do you put on a guy that stops the run at the level that he does, but doesn't impact the passing game as much as you would like? Because let's keep it a buck with one another. Daron Payne is not a pocket collapser. He's more of a guy that's looking to win with some quickness off the snap. But it's not often Daron Payne wins, by bull rushing a dude and putting him in the lap of the quarterback. That doesn't happen all that often. So, what are you willing to pay for a dude that right now has one solid trick? One solid trick. Are you willing to pay top dollar for that? He's not getting Jonathan Allen money, but what Allen signed, like an $18 million per year deal, right? 4 years, $72 million, right? Are you willing to pay Daron $13 or $14 million to stop the run? And that's part of the reason I think they haven't really, been as aggressive with trying to re-sign him, is that they need to see more. So, we'll see what happens. 1/6 Devil Doc. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, and say hello to your wife for me. I appreciate that. 1/6 Devil Doc, who writes, Lou, have a feeling that Bates is going to have a solid season for us, and I am cautiously optimistic about Wentz and his impact. Hashtag mob, hashtag sign up for the cherry squad. I think John Bates is a TE3. There are limitations to what you should expect from a TE3. That said, he showed me some things last year, and I told you, you go back in the archives after last year's draft, who did I tell you I was most excited to see? I told you it was John Bates. I actually thought Bates would be more athletic than what he was. I don't know why I was shocked, but I just said, oh man, they didn't use him a ton at Boise. This guy has a chance to be a stud at the next level. I didn't gather that by watching him last year. I saw a tight end 3 that you essentially, run block with, and then every now and again you throw him a bone. And I say that, and the dude had like 22 catches or something like that last year. I expect that number to decrease. I mean, some of those catches, a lot of them came late in the season when we were running out of options. If you've got a healthy Logan Thomas, and Cole Turner is a guy that they really want to get involved, and then you have a legitimate group of receivers now, and they stay relatively healthy. Excuse me. Along with J.D. McKissick back in the fold again, when a lot of his catches came into play. J.D. McKissick was hurt. We were down a couple of receivers. Logan Thomas was done for the season. I mean, we really didn't have a ton of options available by the time we got towards the end of the season. If we're fully healthy, I can't see John Bates being a huge part of the offense. That said, I would love to see them, go, 12 personnel, hell, even 13 personnel, and go play action fake. Because if you love your tight ends and you feel like your tight ends give you an advantage, then you should feel comfortable putting all of them on the field and exploiting some matchups with them. So that would be interesting to see. But I don't know about Bates having a big season. That remains to be seen. We'll see what Logan Thomas's status is. If Logan Thomas is out for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season, then yeah, maybe Bates does have, a much bigger role to start the year off, and it gains confidence in the coaching staff to get him more opportunities. And all of a sudden, there's a big season for John Bates. But I don't really see Logan Thomas, if there are no setbacks, I don't see him missing a ton of time. I could see him missing the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. I don't see him being put on the PUP list to start the season off, though, and missing the first 6 right off the bat. I think they'll have him on the active roster, even if he's not ready to go, just so that if he's ready, they can pull him off and give him the nod. So we'll see about John Bates. So some of you seem to be a lot more confident in him than I am. I was gung-ho on him last year, and then I watched him, and at the NFL level, I was like, all right, he's a TE3. I was thinking TE2 all the way when I watched him on tape, watched him, in the league last year, and I'm like, yeah, that looks like TE3. That looks like TE3. So anyway, I digress. Thank you for the super chat. 1/6 Devil Doc. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB Rights. Sorry that we want you. Terry, what does Ron do? He says, you're everything we need. Pay what you want us to. What else is there to do? Terry will pay for you tonight. Hey, it's crazy. I was listening to a little bit of that earlier today. I can tell you right now, Terry's gonna get his bread. I've been adamant about that. Ron wouldn't answer a lot of questions regarding, the Terry situation, but what he did say is Terry's gonna get his here sooner rather than later, essentially, is what he said. Like, we're gonna get this situation resolved. Don't you worry. I told you he's the equivalent of Jonathan Allen on the offensive side of football. He's gonna get his. It's too much that Terry brings to the table to not get it done. Same thing with Jonathan Allen last year. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see. All right, Michael White. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Michael White, writes, what do you think will be the Buffalo nickel? Who do you think will be the Buffalo nickel? I think it's not gonna be one guy. Like last year, it was primarily Landon Collins. I don't think it'll be just one guy. I think it'll be Percy Butler. I think it'll be Cam Curl. I think they'll rotate who is in that role. I don't think it'll just be one guy all the time. I wouldn't even be shocked if, Jamin Davis got some looks at Buffalo nickel. I've always wondered why they haven't given Khaleke Hudson a little bit of a chance at that Buffalo nickel. Now, again, the key to the Buffalo nickel is you want a guy that can cover. Because if you're in that Buffalo nickel, you also have slot responsibilities a lot of the time. So you got to be able to play in the slot over that receiver or tight end or whomever is across from you. You also got to be able to handle those duties, whether it's in a man-to-man situation or it's more of a zone principle. You still got to handle your responsibilities as a guy in coverage. So I've always wondered, though, why Khaleke Hudson hasn't gotten more run in that particular set because of his experience playing a similar type position at Michigan, where he was like a, slightly oversized safety, undersized linebacker, down by the line of scrimmage, blitzing, dropping into coverage. He did that at Michigan, but they just don't have the confidence to put him out there, I guess. But I think it's going to be a combination of Cam Curl and the rookie Percy Butler. I think those are going to be the two guys that they look at for Buffalo nickel to start the season off. And it may be the two guys that really rotate through that Buffalo nickel throughout the course of the season. But you're going to see a lot of three safety looks, that's for sure. All right. Let's see. Michael White. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Michael White. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, do you think the running backs will get under or over 20 touchdowns combined? In order to score that many touchdowns, because there were years where as a complete offense, we barely scored over 20. I know in 2019, I don't even know if we scored 20 touchdowns the entire year combined. I know that sounds crazy, but we went a whole month without scoring a touchdown in 2019. We went 3 full games without scoring a touchdown offensively. So I would challenge the fact that we scored, if we scored north of 20 touchdowns total as a team in 2019, it wasn't by much. It was like 22 or 23 total touchdowns in the season. It's ridiculous. It's asinine when you think about some of the explosive offenses and they'll score 5 or 6 touchdowns in one given game. And here we are, 2 months of work for us is 6 touchdowns. And you got teams like Buffalo and Cincinnati and Kansas City scoring 6 touchdowns in one game. 20 touchdowns by the running backs as a collective. Over or under? I think that's an under number. Now, if the offense is legit and we get back to the 2020 type of offense, then it's over. Because if you remember, Gibby had, I think, like 12 rushing touchdowns in his rookie season. I think it was something like 12. And that's because I told you, when you're a really good red zone offense, and we were a good red zone offense in 2020, When you're a good red zone offense, it's because you can run the football in the red zone. We couldn't run the football in the red zone last year. We weren't effective doing that. And it really hurt us. And it also hurts, the production of those backs. And in order to score a lot of touchdowns with your running backs, you also need, big explosive plays or drives that get, stopped at the 2 or 3 yard line. You need to get a first down, and it's first and goal from the 3. That's how you get rushing touchdowns. If you get first and goal from the 9 or the 8, if you don't run it in from the 9 or the 8, chances are you're going to end up having to throw that puppy. So I could see a scenario in which Gibby has 11, Brian Robinson has, did you say rushing? No, you just said touchdowns overall. So that means receiving too. I could see an instance where Gibby has 13 total touchdowns, Brian Robinson has 6, and J.D. McKissick has, 7 total touchdowns. I could see that. So that would put us well over that threshold. That would put that group at 24. I could see that happening if you add in receiving touchdowns, but I need to see what this offense looks like. So right now, I'm going to take the under on that. I'm going to take the under on 20 touchdowns total for that group. If they show me something, and not when I say they, I'm talking about the entire offense. If they're moving the football consistently, then that number is going to be an over number. But right now, I'm going under. They got to show it to me. All right. Let's see. All right. Got a super chat here from Malachi Malik. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Malachi Malik writes, Lou, what's up, my guy? What's going on with you, Malachi? Says, never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. As you correctly said, but Curtis Samuel looks pretty sharp out there. I know it's kind of early, though. Hashtag we got guns and ish. You know what it is. I mean, it was good to see him running around, and he told the reporters, and I talked about this already, so I don't really need to rehash this again, but, he talked about losing confidence in his ability to open up and just run. And he had to kind of reestablish that. And I went on this whole spiel about confidence and what that entails. And, if you've ever been an athlete at any level, you know that confidence can be fleeting. As a guy that played multiple sports growing up, I can tell you that confidence is everything. If you believe you can, then you can. If you don't believe you can, you won't. And the mind is a powerful thing. I've told this story before, but real quick. When I was a kid, I would tell myself over and over again I was sick when I didn't want to go to school. And I would just sit in my bed and I would tell myself, I don't feel well. I don't feel well. And I would keep repeating it over and over again. And you know what my mind said? Okay, bro, you don't feel well. And then I would feel sick to my stomach. I'd feel like I'd have to vomit. Even though I'm not physiologically sick. I'm not physically sick. Psychologically, however, I felt sick. My mind tricked my body into thinking it was sick. It's the craziest thing. So when you're running and you tell yourself, I'm going to run 2 miles, and you get to that 1.5 mile mark and you're like, man, I don't think I can make it. The minute you tell yourself, I don't think I can make it, you might as well stop running. You're not going to make it to that full 2nd mile. Okay? You're done. You're cooked. You got to keep telling yourself, I can do this. I'm going to make it. When you lose confidence as an athlete, it's tough because shit starts to snowball. Because if the other guys around you that you're playing against have confidence, they're going to eat your ass alive. So it becomes an internal struggle. And he was dealing, and you could tell last year he really wanted to go out and help this team. And I think that was part of the reason Ron and company kept yo-yoing him. One, he who, and I'm talking Curtis Samuel here, he had never really dealt with a situation like last year. He's talked about that already. He had never been injured like that before. So he didn't know how to handle it. And you could tell because he kept trying to come back prematurely instead of everybody should have just took a step back and said, hey, bro, we're not going to do this yo-yo song and dance. We're not going to keep having you in and out of the lineup. We're not going to keep testing the hamstring and then it gets tight and then we're going to sit down for a week and then we're going to try to bring you back. Like, that's not helping anybody. It's not helping the offense because 1 week we can rely on you. We're game planning to get you the football and then you're out by the second quarter and now we're screwed because we've been working on this shit all week. And then it doesn't help you because your body isn't allowed to heal. So you're not able to do the things that we brought you here to do. It's just not a conducive situation for anyone to succeed in when you've got a guy, the skill sets of a Curtis Samuel and the talents of a Curtis Samuel, and he can't stay healthy. But they didn't handle it well. He didn't handle it well. They didn't handle it well. He should have just sat down for about 5-6 weeks, got fully healthy, and then came back. And even if, he tried to gut it out and he got hurt again against New Orleans, we should not have seen him again until after the bye. That should have been that should have been the moment. They tried to play him in week 3 against Atlanta. That might have been the best he looked all season, was that road game at Atlanta. He then re-aggravated the injury again against the Saints. And they should have said, you know what? All right, Curtis, we shutting you down. We shutting you down. We putting you on IR, and we're not bringing you back until after the bye week. That's what should have happened. And they could have put him on short-term IR, and they could have brought him back and after the bye week and then see what happens there. Instead, they kept playing around with him all year long, and he never got healthy. He's like, yo, I'm fully healthy now, and I got my mojo back. I got my swag back. I had to get it back in the offseason, working out in Florida with a trainer that pushed me to my limits, that showed me I can stop, I can start, I can cut, I can open up, I can run my fastest, and I will be just fine. Now that he knows that he's going to get back to playing ball, I'm excited to see it because if you can get Curtis Samuel playing at the level we know he's capable of, with the addition of Jahan Dotson, that's just going to make a guy like Dyami Brown that much more dangerous because you got so much to focus on. And I've said this already. Who's thinking about Dyami Brown when you got Terry, Curtis, and Jahan all out there with the capability of destroying the defense? Who's thinking about Dyami Brown? The answer is nobody. That's why he should take full advantage of that situation. We'll see what happens. Anyway, 1-6 Devil Doc, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. 1-6 Devil Doc, who writes, heard we have about 4 or 5 games where the opponent is coming off of a Thursday night game. Looks like a soft schedule, but NFL had to get us somehow. Shaking my head. So, the back end of the schedule after the bye week, is a little rough because you're getting teams that are going to have anywhere, I think it's 10 days of rest or more that you're getting on the back end of the schedule. San Francisco, Dallas, I think Cleveland might be coming off of a game in which they played Thursday night the week before, so it's 10 days off. It is what it is. I'm not tripping about that. You can't ask for every single break on the schedule. If the worst thing on your schedule is a week 14 bye, you're killing it. And that's the worst thing on our schedule. We don't have a bunch of, 2 road games, 1 home game. We don't have too many 3 out of 4 stretches on the road. We got 1 of those and 1 3 out of 4 stretch at home. That's it. They gave us some winnable games to start the season off. I mean, it's winnable for both teams. It's winnable for Detroit just like it's winnable for us. It's winnable for Jacksonville just like it's winnable for us. As I mentioned, their fan bases are looking at us like food in weeks 1 and 2. Like, yo, we better beat them. If we're gonna have a season, we got to beat Washington. And that's cool. We got to earn the respect of teams and make them feel like they can't beat us. But until then, we look like food. But you're not gonna get any complaints out of me in terms of this schedule. The NFL blessed us, so I'm excited about the schedule, and I want to see, us take advantage of the schedule. So, I got a couple more shout outs to mob members. Let's see if I can find those mob members. Mega 412. Hold on. I think that's a brand new member. We'll get to that one a little bit later on. My guy, Jason. Yeah, okay. So we got a couple of new members. Okay, we'll get to those. Those show up. I appreciate y'all. Chill Dude. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. And thank you for being a member for as long as you've been, man. I really do truly appreciate that. Chill Dude who writes, hey, Lou, what's up, Chill Dude? Says, we got an offense. We got a defense. Let's get this season started and see where we stack up. High hopes and positive vibes. Well, everybody's got an offense and a defense. It's just how good is it? We had an offense last year. We had an offense in 2019. It just wasn't any good. Everybody's got an offense and a defense. I know what you mean, man. I'm just being a jerk. Now, I think we got the makings of an explosive and dynamic offense. I'm excited to see what this thing looks like when they roll the balls out and allow these boys to go play. I'm excited to see Scott Turner get his hands on all this talent and seeing what he does with it. I'm excited to see Carson Wentz don in the burgundy and gold and how he'll play. And the beauty of it is he's back in number 11. He didn't get to wear that in Indy because it was already taken. Michael Pittman Jr. had 11 and he didn't want to ruffle any feathers. So, he just went with the next best thing. 1 + 1 is 2. So he went with the number 2. But he's back in the, double aces and he's ready, man. He talked about, the significance of that number. He's excited to have it back. And I'm excited to see him on the field with this offense and this defense. This schedule is set up for them to have some success, to build confidence, for them to get off to a fast start and have that snowball into them being a dominant unit. But they first of all got to stay healthy. Second of all, they got to produce. And third of all, they got to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves. You do those things in this league, you'll have success. So I'm looking forward to seeing, if we're able to, one, stay healthy. That's the biggest thing, because I think our frontline guys on both sides of the football are pretty good. I think they've built a solid roster in that regard. I've always said that the depth was really solid for this team, and I still think it is. But my biggest issue has been the lack of blue chip players. Well, maybe we got more blue chip players now. Maybe, maybe Gibby in tip top shape is a blue chip player. Maybe Jahan Dotson is a blue chip player. Maybe Curtis Samuel here in Washington is a blue chip player. Who knows? I'm dying to find out. Let's see. 16 Devil Doc. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy 16 Devil Doc writes, Lou, if we start winning consistently, you got to get ready for those bad dog 24-hour live streams. In Lou voice, Bart Scott. Can't wait. Hashtag Cherry Squad. If we get good, it's going to be a lot of things that y'all going to have to prepare for. And one of it is I'm going to be talking cold, hard cash. Don't let us get good. I'm gonna be insufferable, just so you know. Now I'm not braggadocious. Now let me get one thing straight. I'm not one of those guys that, you know, refuses to shut up. But with all the shit that has been talked to us, and we've been looked down upon and, you know, dismissed because of our track record, we deserve to be dismissed. We deserve to be looked down upon. But all of that has taken place, when we finally get where we're going, if we get there, oh, it's going to make it that much sweeter. I liken it to when I was coming up as a young lad in the YouTube game. I was a young pup, man, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac. I ain't know no better. And I reached out to an MCN, and the MCN pretty much told me, "You a little boy, you know, you ain't big enough. Your arms are too short to box. Get out of here." And I was hurt. I was like, how dare they tell me I ain't good enough? I'm gonna show them. And I'm a big chip on the shoulder guy. I'm a massive chip on the shoulder guy. Because I'm so competitive. I be on some borderline Mike Jordan shit. Now, I'm not as bad as Mike. You know, I ain't gonna make up some shit like the LeBradford, shucks, LeBradford Smith story. I'm not gonna do that shit, right? But you give me a reason, I will put a chip the size of Mount Trashmore on my shoulder and take it to your ass. And that provided me with a chip. It made me work even harder. You know, part of why I'm here today doing what I do is because they told me, no, you ain't shit. And you ain't gonna be shit. Get out of my face. Okay, I'm gonna show your ass. So if we start winning, and all of these, you know, vid makers, all these teams, all these people that have been talking shit. One of my favorite lines in All About the Benjamins is with the two old ladies in the store. You know, that's one of the funniest scenes of a movie, of any comedy movie, in all time. Like, it's one of the funniest scenes that, you know, hey, he said, "Hey, Mr. Chef." He said, "You ain't nothing but a 2-bit hustler looking for the 5-finger discount." He said, "You know what, Mr. Chef? I'm going to stop coming." He said, "I'm going to stop going here. I'm going to go to Dwight's." "Dwight who? Dwight around your lip." And then he said, you know, him and the two ladies in there running the hustle. She's like, "You talking shit, bitch?" That's how I'm going to be. "You talking shit, bitch?" To all the Eagles fans, to all the people that had something to say when we was garbage and we were down and they was kicking us when we was down. Oh, it's going to be on. So I'm looking forward to that day, man. If that requires a 24-hour stream, sign me up. Sign me up. Anyway, I digress. 45, 47. Anyway, I digress. Nah, playing. Ishmael Benitez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. IB, thank you for the super chat and being a member of the MOBB. My guy Ishmael writes, "What's up, Lou? What's up, IB?" Says, "Maybe our defense won't give up so many big plays this season." You know, that was a big problem, especially early in the season. Jack Del Rio talked about the lack of communication on the back end and how that was really problematic with a lot of those big plays. And I think there was validity to that, because a lot of times on those big plays, you would see somebody turn around and go like this, like, where were you at, man? What was you doing? And the thing that I love, though, even with all the mistakes, there was accountability last year. Like, you know, after the Atlanta game, you know, the big play that we gave up to Cordero Patterson for the touchdown, that was all Bobby McCain. And after the game, Bobby McCain was like, "Yeah, that was all me. Yeah, I effed up on that one." And I told the fellas, "I'm going to get my shit together." And then later on in that game, they tried him again, and he almost got a pick. And he made some big plays late in the game down the field to stop the Falcons from getting more big plays. So I told you, I love me some Bobby McCain. You know, I love his temperament. I told you, I love his mentality. He's got a dog mentality. Now, the play on the field doesn't always match the mentality, but I love the mentality because you got to have dudes who think that way. Okay, you can have a guy that has the ability to be a dog, but if he doesn't have the mentality, that shit doesn't matter. I'd rather have a dude that don't have the ability to match the mentality, but he got the mentality because he's going to go out there. That's Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly is cheeks, but he's got a dog mentality. You can't coach that shit. Either you got it or you don't. You hate playing against him. You love playing with him. Bobby McCain is one of those dudes. He's got a dog mentality. I like Bobby McCain a lot. And so, when Landon Collins had an F up, he was like, yeah, he didn't want to take responsibility for it like Bobby McCain did, but he eventually got around to saying, yeah, that was me. I got to be better. So if we can take away some of those big plays, I mean, there were some games where big plays literally turned the tide. I think about that Saints game. Even though we didn't score a bunch of points early in that game, we had all the momentum. We picked Jameis Winston off early. Cole Holcomb had a pick early, and we had him rattled. We had him on the ropes, and then we give up the big ass deep ball to Deontay Harris, and just like that, it was a totally different ball game. You're like, damn it! And then remember the Hail Mary before halftime, and we were dominating them at halftime, and we had shit to show for it. We dominated the first half of that Saints game. He got a stinking ass Hail Mary right before the half. Like dumb shit like that was happening last year. Anyway, he says they get to practice with a QB that will be slinging it on the practice field. As for 94 and Jonathan Allen vouches for him, that says a lot. Look, first of all, that's his boy. And I think that Daron Payne knows what's up. He knows what he's got to do. I don't think anybody needs to tell him. I told you he's real sensitive right now. All right. Because I think he feels underappreciated. I mean, again, the hashtag most hated tells you all you need to know. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, I put out a video earlier today that explains all of that. So go check that out if you have no idea what I'm referring to in terms of hashtag most hated. But he feels like he's the most hated because they wanted to trade him. They said he's not good enough. I contributed to that. I'm not going to shy away. I said I didn't want him when we drafted him back in 2018. I said he wasn't good enough. So I contributed to the hashtag most hated. I'm not running away from that. But again, my whole thing is if you don't like the narrative, change it. Change it. I've been a staunch supporter of Daron Payne since he's gotten here. I didn't want him. But once he got here, he's a part of the family. There ain't shit else I could do but support him now. It was the same thing with Ryan Fitzpatrick last year. I didn't want his ass. But once he got here, all right, I'm going to support you. I didn't want his ass. You guys knew that. I didn't want Curtis Samuel when we signed him. I wanted Corey Davis. Y'all know that. But once he got here, he's family. Support him. And I'll never understand anybody that wants to be right so bad that they'll root against a guy that plays for their team. That shit doesn't make any sense. It doesn't resonate with me. That I'll never be able to make sense of a situation like that. A guy plays for your favorite team and you didn't want him, but he's here now. What's the sense in not cheering for him? It doesn't help your team. Just so you can say, I told you guys he was terrible and we shouldn't have gotten him. You just want to be right. Allen's going to vouch for him because that's his boy. And he knows Daron Payne is talented and capable of, changing the game, but he got to be more consistent, man. And this is his last shot to prove that in Washington. Or else he'll be doing it for somebody else next year. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Got a super chat here from John Livingston. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. John Livingston, JL Smooth, 105.3 JL Smooth. Writes, what up, Lou? What up, JL Smooth? Once again, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, gotta disagree here. An ex secretary employee is investigating Daniel Snyder, and they don't play around. These owners don't play with their money. If he's taking money away from them, bye, Felicia. I'm telling you right now, if they find any evidence that he has done anything from a financial standpoint, he's gone. That's the smoking gun that I'm talking about. That's the hard evidence. That's the proof with Daniel Snyder on film, on actual videotape, pointing the gun and pulling the trigger. That's what they need. If they find any evidence of financial improprieties, he's done. Done. I just don't think they will. We'll see. Again, you're going to need hard evidence, hard proof. If they can find that, if they can put that together, yeah, his ass could be gone. But until they do, Teflon Dan ain't worried about a damn thing. That man's been ducking and dodging and slipping punches for years. He's a master at it. So we'll see what happens. I don't see anything coming from any of this stuff that's being done. I just don't. Now, could there be a John Gruden hit out on him? Absolutely. The league, once they've read those emails, like, again, it's crazy. The guy that we wanted to get fired, the guy that we wanted to have to sell the team during that whole investigation didn't get touched. Yet a guy that was over there minding his own damn business caught a stray and had to announce that he was resigning. He's now currently suing the league. That was a hit job. Oh, you think I'm a P word? Raj read the shit and said, oh, he think I'm a bitch. Okay, I'm going to show his ass. I'm going to show him. All right. They put a hit out on John Gruden's ass. As long as they don't find anything on Dan like that, he ain't got nothing to worry about. And again, this is the kind of, if this money thing, if there's any legs to this, any validity to this, any proof, he's done. I don't think there is, though. We'll see. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Rights. Lou, what we doing for our 1-year anniversary party? I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, I'll have something extra to bring to the table for the 1-year anniversary. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll be able to figure something out, man. But if I don't have anything, planned in a major way, then we'll do something. We do need to celebrate. All right, I agree. So we'll do something. We'll figure it out. Jason Rogers, stand up. You are officially part of the newest member, I should say, of the MOBB. Y'all know what to do. Show Uncle Jay some love. Welcome him with open arms. Glad to have you, Jason Rogers. My guy, Uncle Jay. Welcome to the squad. It's been a while. We've been waiting on you. Good to have you, Uncle Jay. Let's see. Johnny Boy 26. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Johnny Boy 26 writes, I really hope we get Terry's deal done. It's not a guarantee that we sign him. The value at wide receiver position is ridiculous right now. We need Terry to make the O go. Johnny Boy 26, listen to me. You have nothing. And look, I don't speak in terms of guarantee. All right. Not often. Okay. I don't speak in guarantees very often. But when I do, I'm rarely wrong. Okay. I don't do it often because that's not a way you want to live life. In certainties and guarantees, because shit goes wrong, it falls on you, right? You're putting your neck out on the line when you guarantee something. And I'm not one of these people that guarantees things willy-nilly. I put my name on something. I put my John Hancock on something. Like, I'm endorsing it. That's just got to be legit. I'm not just putting my name on anything. I guaranteed a win in 2020 in week 1 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We went and got that shit. I guaranteed, I remember in 2020 when we stunk and we were 2-7. And there are at least 30 of you out there. Again, that's a small number. But the 30 of you that were out there proclaiming that we were going to have a top 5 pick, you were loud and wrong, by the way. Just like the Kirk Cousins crowd. A lot of you were loud and wrong. But I wasn't mad at you because there were enough instances of Kirk not getting it done to warrant some of your concerns. But you didn't. The thing that used to piss me off with Kirk and a lot of you is you wouldn't acknowledge the things that he did do. You just only wanted to talk about his shortcomings and his failures, which they were there, right? But I said all of that to say this. When you look at a guarantee, you're essentially pushing all your chips to the center of the table and saying, I know I'm going to win this hand. And if you lose that hand, you walk into home butt naked with no vehicle and no clothes. You just risk it all. And that's how I treat a guarantee. I'm telling you, we win in week 3 against the Philadelphia Eagles. If we're healthy and there's nothing crazy going on, we're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in week 3. I am guaranteeing you that Terry McLaurin is going to be a Washington Commander. They are going to sign him to a long-term deal. You have nothing to worry about. Hear me now, hear me loud, hear me proud. He is not going anywhere, okay? He is too vital to this team on and off the field. Trust me, okay? They're going to get a deal done. Yes, receivers are expensive. The cap is going up next year. It's going up the year after that. They're not worried about paying Terry. He'll get his. Trust me. Look, you tried to negotiate and get him for as low of an amount as possible, but at the end of the day, as we get closer to training camp and that deadline starts to set in, like, hey, once we get to training camp, Terry and his camp might say, we're done talking. You don't want to get to that point. They're going to figure it out. They're going to make it make sense for both parties involved, and he's going to sign on the dotted line. You got nothing to worry about. Let's see. 1/6, Devil Doc. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, 1/6, Devil Doc writes, didn't know Snyder owned Acme. Feel bad for Wile Coyote. Yeah, look, man. He's been running the Acme show for years, man. Like, it's really, I'm not frustrated because I've come to grips with the fact that this man isn't going anywhere. The likelihood is this man will be the owner of this team until he's no longer here. And I've come to grips with that. It may not play itself out that way, but I'm prepared to deal with that because that's what it looks like right now. It's so hard to get an NFL owner out who doesn't want out. We've seen that. Owners anywhere, like in any sport, once you own a team, do you know how prestigious that is? Do you know how hard it is to get in that club? So once you get in that club, if you don't want out, it's hard to get those guys out. So it is what it is, man. But I don't feel bad for those who keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe. But I just want to know why you keep falling for it. You want it so bad that you're willing to run through stop signs and red lights. That's never good in any walk of life. When you're blinded so badly that you're willing to run through stop signs and red lights, you're heading for trouble. You're heading for a full-on collision. That's what you're going to do. When you run through stop signs and red lights, you're going to get in an accident. And that's what these fans who think Daniel Snyder's going somewhere continuously finding themselves doing, running smack dab into the harsh reality that he's not going anywhere. And how many times are you going to wreck that vehicle before you say, you know what? My insurance is sky high. I'm not doing this shit anymore. I just can't afford it. Emotionally, I can't continue to have my insurance go up. The shit is already sky high. The premium is through the roof. I can't allow my emotions to go through that anymore. Thank you for the super chat. 1/6 Devil Doc. Mega 412. Thank you for the super chat. Or whether stand up. You are officially in the building as the newest member of the MOBB Mega 412. Y'all know what to do, man. I shouldn't have to tell y'all, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Bless Mega 412. Show him love. Embrace him. Love him. Hug him. Even. Welcome to the squad. Mega 412. 1-2 checker. Baby, let me know what's up. What's up? Anyway, my wife would kill me if she heard me say that because she can't stand R. Kelly anymore. I was like, look, you can hate on R. Kelly, and I get it, and I'm not an R. Kelly fan anymore. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to allow me as a fan to make another artist suffer because of R. Kelly's shortcomings. I'm not going to take a hit from Aaliyah and not listen to that because R. Kelly is all over that hit. I'm not going to take a Mary J. Blige hit and not listen to it because R. Kelly is all over the song or his pen is in the background and you can hear it. I'm not going to not listen to JS talk about ice cream flavors because I know R. Kelly penned that whole song and you can hear it like it's Chocolate Factory or something. I'm not going to deprive myself and that artist from getting their love because of R. Kelly. And that's how I kind of feel. And it all comes full circle. That's how I feel about this team. You get people, oh, I'm not going to support this team as long as Daniel Snyder is the owner. Oh, that's fine. I'm not going to deprive myself of something I love because of Daniel Snyder. I might not put no money in his pockets. There are ways you can say, I'm a support without supporting him. There are ways you can do that because he's still going to get his bread regardless. Like, you're not hurting him. That's why I said, if we're going to take a stand, we have to do it together, which is why I said, look, we got to hit him where it hurts. When he wouldn't get rid of Bruce, we got to hit him where it hurts. We got to stop going in games. We got to stop buying merchandise. We got to stop putting extra money in this man's pocket. He already going to get that NFL TV money. He going to get the money that they share, that revenue sharing. He going to get all of that. And we can't stop that. But what we can do is we can stop giving him ticket money. We can stop giving him parking money. We can stop giving him concession money. We can stop giving him merch money. We can stop giving him all the extra money he gets to put in his pocket. There are ways you can not support Daniel Snyder and still support the team. Just like it's ways you can support artists that have something to do with R. Kelly or have a track with R. Kelly without supporting R. Kelly. Don't ask me how that shit started anyway. Anyway, I digress. Got a super chat here from, let's see. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, Metaphor. Right. Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years. When we drop these touchdowns, that's going to make you call the cops. We're going to take this East by storm. I don't know if we're going to take the East by storm. I ain't calling it a comeback. But because I told you, I could see 3 teams from this division making the playoffs because of how the schedule sits for this division this year. Everybody's playing a soft schedule. Some softer than others. Ours and Dallas's right now are a little bit softer than Philadelphia and New York's, but everybody's schedule is pretty much soft. Just varying degrees of soft. You know? If everybody takes advantage of the schedule, then you can't run away with this division unless you just destroy and devour the division itself, and the other teams in the division are beating up on each other. You know, you go 6-0 in the division, and I can't tell you the last time we've done that. I still don't know. Can somebody in the comment section tell me the last time Washington swept the entire NFC East? I'm tired of saying, I don't know the last time we did it. Can somebody look that up? The last time Washington swept the entire NFC East was when? I'd love to know. It's got to be in the somethings if we ever did it. It's got to be the somethings. It's not the teens. It's damn sure not the 20s. It's got to be the somethings. Little LL Cool J there. Jason Rogers, my guy, Uncle Jay. Welcome to the squad. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I bet you don't have dreams. You have movies. You'll never find blum, 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 a hairline like mine. Hey, Mike Epps is a fool, man. I love me. That's one of the most underrated funny movies. I won't say of all time. It's just one of the most underrated funny movies. You know, when we start talking about classics, I don't think All About the Benjamins gets enough credit for how funny that movie truly is. Even the opening scene when Bookham is out in the boonies trying to hunt down Lil J or whatever his name is, and you know, he got his girlfriend out there, you know, walking around with a boot on, trying to shoot him. Shoot his ass, baby! Shoot his ass! I mean, even like, look, little shit like that is funny to me, right? Get his ass, baby! Shoot his ass! Anyway, let's see. Michael White, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Michael White, writes, because we have given up so many big plays, don't you think that Butler should be free safety because he can track sideline to sideline so well? No. So just because you're fast doesn't mean you make a great free safety. You have to have instincts. You have to have seen what's going on. Because he's a youngin', I'm more inclined to have him be closer to the line of scrimmage, than I am further away from it, because you're more likely to be duped as a youngin'. You know, when you haven't seen elite level quarterbacking, when you're coming from Louisiana and, you know, you're not used to seeing the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and, you know, Deshaun Watson and, you know, quarterbacks like that can manipulate, you know, both sides of the field and can stare down one side knowing the entire time they're going backside one-on-one. And when you're a young pup, your eyes are wide open. You see everything. And they tell you, especially like as a running back, see less, right? You're seeing too much. Because when you see too much, then you're thinking, I can hit a home run. Instead of taking the 7-yard run that you got right here and then seeing what you can do off of that, You seeing too much. Now you're trying to go outside, and now it's a 1 yard gain or it's a 2 yard loss. You seeing too much. Oh my God. You seeing this big cutback lane. Now you cut it back against the grain, and it's a guy there waiting for you. When if you keep pressing front side, there's an opportunity for you to stick your foot in the ground, get up the field, and get 6. You know, they say see less. You seeing too much. As a safety, sometimes you can see too much. You watching the quarterback, you reading his eyes, you see this tight end coming across the field, and you're like, oh, the quarterback definitely going to his ass. I'm gonna take him. That's not your job, bro. That's not your job. And that was what was happening to us last year. When Landon Collins gave up the deep ball in the New Orleans game, that's exactly what happened. Eye candy coming across the field. Bro, that is not your job. Okay? That is not your man. And he goes with that over the top. Boop. The corner thinks he's got help. He's playing a deep third, and Landon Collins is supposed to have the middle third of the field. So that corner is turning over that post, that deep post, to the middle third, to that safety, and he's not home. Well, it's a walk-in touchdown now. That's what happens when your eyes get too big and you see too much. Do your job. And when you get a guy like Percy Butler, who's young, you know, he might be inclined to fall for a double move, or he might fall for a combination route that puts a lot of stress, because there are routes and coverages that you play where if they call the right play, you're going to be put in a bind as a safety if you're playing deep, high, single high for your free safety. If you're playing a cover 3, for instance, and you're in the middle of the field safety and they come at you with 4 verts, I mean, you're going to be put in a bind if they go with 4 verts and there are only 3 of you deep. You got to kind of try to split the difference between this guy running up the seam and this guy running up the seam. One of them's going to be open. And if you overcommit to one, the other one's open. And if you got a really good quarterback, he'll stare down one, force you to commit, and then he'll throw it to the other one. I said all of that to say this. I want him to get his feet wet first before I just stick him back there at free safety. Want him to see the game, watch tape with the coaches a little bit, see some guys making mistakes, see some guys doing it the right way, and teach him proper technique, teach him eye discipline, where he should be looking, what his keys should be. And then you can unleash that young fella as the deep, high safety, you know, the single high free safety. But if you just throw him in the fire, I'm guaranteeing you giving up some big plays just off of the strength of him having to learn. He'll get back there eventually, though. Trust me. Luck, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Luck writes, what up, Lou? What up, Luck? It's good with you. If you need any LTN or Washington Commanders merch printed, let me know. I'd be honored. Just got an LLC trying to change for the better. Hey, look, anything that'll keep you off the streets from knocking dudes out, I'm all for it, man. So I love the fact that you just got established officially as an LLC. Congratulations. I'll go ahead and give you a little round of applause, man. That is beautiful. Now, that's half the battle, getting it started. Now you got to grind, you got to hustle, and you got to go out there and get it. Nobody's going to give you anything. You got to go out there and get it. So I'd love to hear about how the progress is going with that. And, you know, if I got anything that I need done and I can outsource it to you, I most definitely will. So once again, congratulations, and go out and get it, man. You know, go out and hustle. Let's see. I think that was, here goes another super chat. I thought that was the last one. Got a super chat here from Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Big Money Sonny, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, Lou, Big Money Sonny, we sweeping the division this year. We need to co-sign on this and speak it into existence. Their Cowboys and Eagles are the only teams to sweep the NFC East. Research courtesy of the Cherry Squad. Ain't no way that we haven't swept the division at some point before. Ain't no way we've never done that. Or is that what you're saying to me? I need clarification. Is that what you're saying? We've never swept the entire division. I find that hard to believe. I don't think we've done it anytime recently, but and I'm not talking about going back to when the Arizona Cardinals were in the division and it was 8 games versus divisional opponents. I'm talking about this iteration of the NFC East that just includes Dallas, Washington, Philadelphia, and the Giants. Have we swept the division since it became 4 teams, not 5? That's what I want to know. I know we haven't done it in the last 10, 15 years. I shouldn't say 15. I know we haven't done it in the last 10 to 12 years. Okay. Going all the way back to 2010. I know that for a fact. I know we didn't do it in 09. I know we didn't do it in 08. 07, probably didn't do it there either, but that's a chance because that's a playoff season. 05, that would be my guess, 05, but we probably lost to a team in the division in 05. But I know we swept Dallas that year. I know we beat Philly the second time. I don't know if we beat Philly the first time in Washington. And I'm not quite sure what we did with the Giants that year in 05, but the Giants were always tough. And we never won in the Meadowlands. So I wouldn't be surprised if we lost to the Giants in New York. That if there was one team that would stop us from sweeping the division when we were really good, it would be the Giants in New York. That would be the game that we would have lost. And then, we just don't beat Dallas in Dallas for whatever reason. So those are the 2 games that you look at and say, okay, probably lost that game at some point. But even the years that we were good, we found a way to lose a game in the division. So there's no way we haven't done it at least once. If that's true, if we haven't done it, that's embarrassing. And we have to change the narrative. Okay. We have to change that. Can't beat Dak Prescott. He owns the Washington fill in the blanks. He's owned us as the Redskins. He's owned us as the football team. Can't let him own us as the damn Commanders. Change the narrative. Thank you for the super chat. Big money. Sunny. Let's see. Got a super chat here. Wow. Aubrey Vaughn looks like he has he said never. So Big Money Sunny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Big Money Sunny, who writes, never, Lou. Unfortunately, Dallas in 1998 went 8-0, and that was when the divisions were still with 5 teams in it, with Arizona still a part of the NFC East before the realignment when the Houston Texans came into the league. The Eagles did it in 2004. They went 6-0. And Dallas did it this past year. Damn, I felt like more teams would have done it. So the Giants have never done it either? Is that what you're saying to me? The Giants have never done it, just Dallas and Philadelphia? Oh, wow. That is crazy. Well, we need to change that, man. I know we've gone 5-1 a couple of times. 2012, we went 5-1 with the lone loss in the division coming against the Giants in New York. I told you that they're the team that usually stops us when we are trying to do something like that. In 2015, we swept Dallas. And I think we swept Philly, but no, we didn't. We didn't sweep Dallas. We lost to Dallas in Washington on a Monday night when Deshaun Jackson fumbled the damn punt. I don't know what we did against the Giants that year in 2015. My memory doesn't recall, but I do remember Deshaun Jackson muffing that punt late in that game, and we lost to Matt Cassell and Darren McFadden at running back. It made me throw up in my mouth. That game was disgusting. Still won the division that year though, but that game sucked. Wow, we've never went undefeated in the division. Interesting. We need to change that. That's definitely changed the narrative type of material right there. We definitely need to change that. No time like the present, man. Yikes. Thank you for that, Big Money Sonny, Aubrey Vaughn, and all of you guys who looked that up. Really do appreciate you guys for that information. DC Dude, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, DC Dude, writes, I believe this is the government's way of telling the NFL that they don't want to do business with Dan Snyder. This is their way of saying get rid of Dan. I mean, again, the NFL has shown that they will not allow outside entities to force them into policing their league in any way, shape, or form. Now, again, the government definitely has autonomy to be able to tell them this is what you're going to do, right? But you got to remember the NFL is still a private enterprise. These are 32 individual owners that run the league, and each can do whatever the hell they want. It's their franchise, and it's still private. So again, it's tough. You know, when the government tries to step in, they can only do but so much. And at the end of the day, it's still the NFL's call as to how they want to handle Daniel Snyder. The government, unless they, again, if they have overwhelming proof, if they have proof that Daniel Snyder, committed some kind of, act, some kind of crime against the collective bargaining agreement, against these other owners, against these players, then he's gone. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But without that, they can, try and force the NFL's hand, but they don't have to do anything. These guys are some of the wealthiest men in the world. These NFL owners are. Like, you can't make them do anything they don't want to do. The league went out of their way. They could have said, hey, Dan, get your broke ass out of here. We ain't loaning you no money to buy the rest of the shares of the team away from the minority owners. Matter of fact, you give us the rest of your shares and we'll sell this thing 100% to somebody else. Get your broke ass out of here. We ain't giving you no loans. No, the league bent over backwards and bent the rules that were in place that said we can only loan you X amount of dollars. They exceeded that by a ton to give Daniel Snyder the necessary money to then buy out the minority investors so that he could own 100% of the Washington Commanders. If that's not the league pretty much saying, if they wanted to get rid of him, that was the time right there. Not giving him the loan, saying, bro, you too broke. They didn't, though. They didn't turn their back on him. That's when they could have turned their back on Daniel Snyder. They could have turned their back, but they didn't. They instead doubled down on Daniel and gave him the loan, the historic loan, to buy the rest of the shares of this organization. If that wasn't a sign that, hey, this dude ain't going nowhere no time soon. And again, all it takes is one slip up from Dan Snyder and it's over. But it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I just don't see it happening. Thank you for the super chat, DC Dude. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Metaphor writes, closest was 05, 5-1, lost to the Giants going back to 1940. So we weren't 5-1 in the division in 2012. I remember beating Dallas on Thanksgiving in 2012. I remember beating Dallas in week 17 to win the division. I remember beating the Giants on a Monday night late in the season at home in Washington. I remember losing to the Giants in that epic Robert Griffin III fourth down scramble throw to Logan Paulson on fourth down with the Victor Cruz. Got beat by Victor Cruz. That was the one loss. And I remember, I don't remember the first game against Philly at home. So that could have been a loss. But the Eagles were terrible in 2012. That's the year Andy Reid, that was his final year in Washington. He got fired after the season. I could have sworn they were terrible and we beat them twice. I know for a fact we beat them in Philadelphia. That was Griffin's first game back from the injury. He didn't play against Cleveland. He came back the following week against Philadelphia on one leg and was good enough to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe we lost to the Eagles the first, because we weren't, remember in 2012, we weren't good at the beginning of the season. So maybe we lost to Philadelphia and we were 4-2 early in the season. But 5-1 is the best. And I knew 2005 we had done some good things, but 5-1 is the best we've done. Wow. That is mind-blowing. That's one of those stats as a fan I was never privy to. I want it bad now. I want 6-0 badly. It's hard to do, man. It's hard to sweep your division, especially when the crazy part is, for as bad as this division has been over the years, we haven't been able to take advantage of it. Not one single time. Not one single time have we been able to step up and say, hey, everybody in this division, garbage. We got to sweep these dudes. What did we do in 2020? I'm about to play it back real quick. We swept Dallas. We beat the Giants. The Giants beat us twice in 2020. We swept Philadelphia. And we swept Dallas, but the Giants got us twice. I feel like it's always the damn Giants. I told you that's the team that always seems to get us. It's always the damn Giants. Wow. Yikes. Okay. Well, we gotta figure it out. We gotta find a way to change the narrative. We gotta find a way to change the damn narrative. Yikes. All right. Malachi Malik, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Malachi Malik. Greatly appreciate you, who writes, quick question, Lou. What moment in Washington history made you a fan for life? It wasn't any one moment, Malachi. It was just, I'm loyal to a fault. I'll share a little bit with you. I'm a really, really guarded guy. I don't trust people a lot. I don't have a lot of friends because I have a small, tight-knit circle. I roll with the cats from back in the day because I trust them. I know I can trust them, and I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm always leery of new people because you got an ulterior motive until you prove to me that you don't. But my problem is I don't give you a chance to prove that you don't have an ulterior motive because I just don't trust people, because people ain't shit, you know. But that said, I'm very loyal. When you're my friend, you got a real one. 10 toes down, you ain't got shit to worry about. I'm gonna always hold you down. And that's how I am with my teams. The only one I haven't been that way with my entire life is the Memphis Grizzlies. And I've got a story with that. But and I think I've either already told that story or I'm going to tell that on the podcast. I told them I would explain to them, because it's a long story. It's really not that long, but it's long enough that I'll just tell you later on. But I'm like that with the Braves. I'm like that with, Washington. I'm like that with Duke Blue Devils, Notre Dame, football, college football. I just always been that way as a fan. Once I like a team, you stuck with me, and I'm stuck with that team no matter what. So I just grew up a fan of this team because it was the only thing on television around here. My dad is a massive NFL fan. I mean, he's a sports fan, period. But football is king, and it was in my household growing up. And we live in Virginia. I've lived in Virginia my entire life. My family is from the Virgin Islands, and my mom and dad have lived various places, New York, New Mexico, but I didn't experience any of that. I was born and raised here in VA, and all I've ever known is Washington Redskins football. That's what I knew growing up. That's what I saw as a kid. That's what I fell in love with. There was never one, look, if I based my fandom off of what I saw as a youth, I would have switched teams a long time ago. We were terrible for much of my youth, okay? I got to see the 91 Super Bowl, and that's when I barely knew what the hell was going on. I was 5 when we won that Super Bowl. 5. All I remember is that my first, memories of watching football was the playoff game the previous year when we lost to the 49ers and Mark Rippon was terrible and threw those interceptions. That's my first recollection of any football when I was 4. The following year, when I was 5, we won the Super Bowl, and I remember running around the house in my Hutch helmet and Mark Rippon starter outfit. And, you can tell me anything. And, I didn't think that would be the last time I'd be able to celebrate a Super Bowl. But not only was that the last time I was able to celebrate a Super Bowl, it's the last time we've even been remotely close. We've been back to an NFC championship game since then. So all my youth from Gibbs 1.0 up until the present day, we've stunk. There have been intervals, little small pockets where we haven't been terrible. Pretty much Gibbs 2.0, going to the playoffs 2 times in 4 years, which is unheard of in these parts now. I mean, think about what Joe did back in 05 and 07, and now you bring it to present day and you're thinking, shit, Joe's the man, because we haven't went to the playoffs twice in 4 years since Joe did it. And when we go to the playoffs, it's a miracle. It seems like we got to pull all kinds of rabbits out the hat, and we got to win 5 straight just to get in. And that shit's not sustainable. That's why I marvel at what Jay Gruden almost did. To think we hadn't had back-to-back winning seasons since, and we still haven't. Oh, well, Jay Gruden ended that, even though it was 8-7-1. It's still over 500 in 15 and 16. But prior to that, we hadn't had back-to-back winning seasons since Joe's last season in 92 and the 91 season when we won the Super Bowl. That's the last time we've had back-to-back winning seasons. It's a joke. I mean, think about it. As a fan of this team, depending on your age, you really don't know what sustained winning looks like. And it's not just the lack of sustained winning. It's the lack of just being relevant. If you're of a certain age, I feel really bad for the fans out there that are like 20-something years old. Like, you really haven't seen anything. Like the fans that the best year they've ever seen is 2012. I feel for you. That's rough. And then there's the next sector of fans, the best year they've ever seen is 05. That's brutal. Because, and my shit isn't that much better. I saw a Super Bowl. Again, I was 5, so I don't remember it like I do the 99 season. But 99 is my favorite season to this point. And I enjoyed 05. I enjoyed 2012. But we legitimately could have won a Super Bowl in 1999. I never thought we were good enough in 05 to win the Super Bowl because offensively we were bad. No, we weren't bad. We were terrible on offense in 05. In 99, we had injuries that really cut the life of that offense short because Brad Johnson threw for over 4,000 yards. Albert Connell had 1,000 yards receiving. Michael Westbrook had 1,000 yards receiving. And Stephen Davis set the franchise record for most rushing yards in the season at 1,405 yards. We could do everything offensively. We had weapons offensively. We had Larry Centers. We had tight ends. Steven Alexander. We could do some things offensively. Defensively, we were stout in 1999. We were a good quality NFL defense. We were a well-rounded team in 99. It's amazing, though, when we sit down and we start having these types of conversations, though, this is when my mind is boggled. And I'm just like, how have we been so loyal to this organization? When we start having conversations about never having swept the division, haven't gone to the playoffs 2 years in a row since 1991 and 92, having, not had back-to-back winning seasons since 2015 and 16. Like when you think about that and before 2015 and 16, having not done it since 91, 92. When you think about things like that, you just think about how hard it has had to be a fan of this team at times. And when we've been bad, it's not just, 7-9 bad or 8-8 middle of the road bad, which that can get old quick too. And that's what we were under Jay Gruden. Like we were never, until his final year, we were never just ass under Gruden. We were usually sniffing around 500. But with just about every other regime, every other coaching staff that's been here, that includes Gibbs, there were some lean years in there. There were some lean years in there. And so when we're bad, we're really bad. And the part that hasn't balanced it out is when we're good, we're just barely good. That's the part that's been frustrating for me. Where's our 11-5? Where's the 12-4 year that came out of nowhere? They don't exist. They don't exist. Yeah, we went 3-13 in 2019. And when I was growing up, 5-11 was the norm. The only thing you could look forward to is, hey, Ken Harvey's really good on defense and Terry Allen's really good on offense. We sucked. And you knew you were going 4-12 or 5-11 every season. From 93 all the way up until like 97 or 98. I knew. We had that one year, and I want to say it was 90. Let's say it was 96. We started off like 7-0. And then the bottom fell out of the damn season. But every year we sucked. I was waiting for that one year where we'd go 12-4, 11-5. And 99 felt like that year. We were 10-6. But it felt like a team that could do damage in the playoffs. And they almost did. They almost did. We beat Detroit in wild card weekend, and then we went to Tampa Bay, and we had a shot. And we should have won that game. I still think about that game. I don't think we would have beat the greatest show on turf, but I damn sure would have liked to have found out. Anyway, as I mentioned, it's rough. If you're a fan and you're 30 years old, that means the best season you've probably seen or remember at least is probably 05. If you're a fan and you're 25, you're definitely 25 and under. You're definitely a 2012 guy or gal out there. That's rough. It's rough. And if you're like me, you're 35 and older, You've got 99, you've got 05, you've got 12, but there's so many bad seasons in between those years, and the lack of consistency, it's frustrating, to say the least. The reason I believe in Ron is because he kind of reminds me of what Jay Gruden was doing. We haven't been terrible under Ron Rivera since he's gotten here. 7 wins twice isn't great, but from what we've seen in the past and where we came from when he got here, when we were a 3-win team, we're much better off. At some point, and I'm hoping now that we got the quarterback, shit's about to change. At some point, there has to be a change. That's what I keep telling myself. And maybe there is no point. As long as Daniel Snyder's the owner, there is no change. There's no point where things get better. This is the norm. It has been for over 20 years. So what makes you think it's going to change? Hope. That's all I got. Hope. Ron Rivera gives me hope. Maybe not to some of you, but for me, Ron Rivera gives me hope. Carson Wentz gives me hope. If he doesn't work, Sam Howell gives me hope. If he doesn't work, we're back to square one. And then, more likely than not, Ron's fired. We're looking for a quarterback and we're looking for a head coach, and you're still having to deal with Dan Snyder. Hope is all we got. We got to hope that Ron Rivera comes through in the clutch for us. If he doesn't, we could be going down a long, long, dark road. We've been down it many times before. We've been down it many times before. But we could be going down a long, dark road. Anyway. Thank you for the super chat. And I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but there isn't one thing for me. Malachi, I'm loyal to this team to a fault. Let's see. B Harris 757. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. B Harris 757 writes, I hate Dan just like everyone else, but what if we do get a new owner and he moves the team to a bigger market city for money? Careful for what you wish for. What's a bigger market than this one here in Virginia, in DC, in this DMV area? What's a bigger market than this that's not already tapped into? You want to go to Texas and share with 18 other teams? What, you going to go to Florida? The Jacksonville Jaguars don't even sell out there. You're just going to go to Florida and add a 9th team to Florida? What, you going to go to LA? They could give 2 shits about the 2 teams that are already there. Well, what bigger market is there that exists than the DMV that's not already tapped into? There aren't many places left in the U.S. that doesn't already have a football team that's a bigger market than what we have here. Like, it's not about moving to a bigger market as much as if someone's like, hey, I'm from St. Louis, I want to move this team to St. Louis. Then that's different. But it's not about moving it to a bigger media market, I don't think. But at the end of the day, I don't think the league will allow this market, even if a new owner came in and decided he wanted to move the team. That's his prerogative. The league, they could stop him if they wanted to. The league could say, no, that's not happening. But if they decided, okay, you do whatever you want to do, the league would then probably give this, just like they did with Cleveland, they would give them an expansion team. Like, there's no way we're going to allow Washington to not have a team. Impossible. You know, I just, what, are they going to move it to San Antonio? Yeah, right. I don't see this team going anywhere, no matter who the owner is. The real question is, could you possibly get any worse of an owner? The answer is no for me, right? Sort of like kind of how I feel about Carson Wentz. Like, he can't be any worse than what we've dealt with at the quarterback position. Therefore, either he's the same as what we've been dealing with or better. He can't be any worse. What we've dealt with at the quarterback position can't be any worse. And we know he's not any worse. We've seen, it's not like he's an unknown commodity and he can come out here and be Brock Osweiler and be absolutely ass-tastic. Okay. He's not that, you know? So it's not like we don't know what we're getting ourselves into. We just don't know to what extent we're going to get, what Carson Wentz we're going to get. Because even in 2020, when he wasn't good, that shit was probably still better than what we have here and what we've had. So, and I don't know if you guys saw the text messages that I don't know if there's any truth to that. Anybody can post any shit they want and say they, people do shit for clout. But I told you on social media, if you follow me and you see some shit on my timeline, something that I've retweeted, that doesn't mean that I think it's the gospel. It doesn't mean that I support it. All I do is I scrounge up all the information and I bring it to your doorstep. That's it. I let you decipher whether it's true or not, whether you want to believe it or you don't want to believe it. That's not my job. My job is to bring you the proof or the evidence or bring you the story and let you determine what you think is true or not. That's my job. But there were a series of text messages. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my timeline on Twitter, and I retweeted it. It was yesterday, so you might have to go down a little bit, but it shouldn't be that far. I don't be tweeting my ass off like that. So if you go to my Twitter timeline, you'll see a retweet of a series of text messages, and now it's like third-hand information from a friend of a friend that knows Carson, this type of thing. But they talked about his final days in Philadelphia and how he was treated. If there's any truth to any of that, then Carson Wentz is a lot better of a human being than we thought initially. A better teammate, better this, better that. And that whole Philadelphia narrative that was spewed was not all false, because he had his fair share of blame and responsibility that he needed to take for what happened in Philadelphia. But if there's any truth to any of that stuff, Howie Roseman telling him he needs to get his effing ass back out on the field, and the man's throwing up in a trash can in the locker room because he's gotten knocked out of the playoff game against Seattle with a concussion. And one of the symptoms of a concussion is vomiting. If that's true, and they had to get Howie off of him and Howie's cursing him and Carson Wentz's wife out, if that's true, are you kidding me? I could see some low down shit like that happening with the Eagles organization, though, because we already know Howie and their owner, Jeffrey Lurie, those dudes are not 100% wrapped tight. Okay, both of those dudes are delusional. So I could see some funny business going on. But anyway, I digress. I don't see this organization going anywhere, no matter who the owner is. But you never know. Only one way to find out. And guess what? I'm willing to find out. Now, some of you may not be. I'm willing to find out. Let's see. Coach Kev, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Coach Kev, writes, I know you don't follow UDFAs, but we got that big SOB C. Kelly. What are the odds that he follows up the combine and outthrows Sam Howell in the preseason? I don't give a shit if he outthrows him in OTAs, in training camp, and in the preseason. They are not getting rid of Sam Howell for Cole Kelly. Not happening. Not happening whatsoever. You know the old adage, the guy that gets drafted is going to get way more opportunities to prove he can't than the guy that is undrafted is going to get an opportunities to prove he can't. So that's just how it goes, man. And Sam Howell comes with fanfare. He comes with, major college football accolades and experience. Cole Kelly does not. They're not, hitching their wagon to a guy that had a really, solid college football career, but, played at Southeast Louisiana or wherever it was he played. They're not hitching their wagon to him. But they're intrigued enough to bring him to camp. They needed some camp arms. He's going to be one of them. I could see him sticking around and being a like, why can't he be Steven Montez? Shit, we kept Steven Montez around for like 3 years when he was straight garbage can juice. Why can't we keep Cole Kelly around? It won't hurt. So we'll see. But he's definitely not making the football team. He's not, and he's not making it over Sam Howell, that's for sure. Let's see. Mr. Yeto, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Mr. Yeto. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, sup, Lou? Nice hat. Appreciate that, man. Says, what apparel has been the best release so far? Salute on your loyalty. It ain't easy. You're damn right it ain't easy. Likewise to you. He says, the W on the hat kind of reminds me of VA AVC. It does have a little bit of that ABC store vibe. I will admit that it definitely does. I told y'all from Jump Street, I said I'm not buying no merch when it first comes out. When that shit's hot off the presses, they're gonna bang you over the skull. I said I'm gonna wait till that shit comes right down into my wheelhouse, right down into my price range. And I told you, as a man, look, as an individual, man, woman, it doesn't matter. You got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Okay. That's in every walk of life. You got to be willing to say, you know what? I'm not paying that amount of money for this service or for this product. Okay. And some things you want bad enough, you'll pay for it. Right. So Washington Commanders apparel, I drew a line in the sand. I'm not paying $45 for a damn hat. Are you crazy? And I knew they was going to bang people over the head when it first came out. I was like, oh, okay. Y'all can keep that. I'll keep wearing my damn Washington football team hats until y'all come around with some damn sense. And I waited. And they came down to my wheelhouse. The draft hat that you saw me rocking, I got that from Lids. And I paid $36 for that. And that was a little bit more than I really wanted to pay. But I said, I got to get a hat. So I took the L on that one. But every other hat, and I bought like 5 hats. So you're going to see the kid rotating. Heavy rotation. I'm going to be moving them in and out, moving them in and out. All right. But Fanatics had a sale. And I'm a big sale guy. How can I get a dub? I'm always trying to get a dub in life. How can I get a win today? It could be something small. I'm always looking for a way to get a win. Hey, this light has kicked my ass 5 days in a row. I have not caught this light. Can I catch this light today? It's turning yellow. I'm mashing the gas because I'm getting me a win. How can I get a dub today? It's always about how can I get a dub? Find a way to get a win. Have you gotten your dub today? Yeah. Well, I got my dub. Fanatics was having a sale. Clearance was 70% off. They were giving away some merch. They were giving away hats, some apparel that they was like, hey, man, we might not be able to sell this. I'll take it off your hands. No worries. And they said free shipping. And I had a 20% off coupon. I couldn't lose. I beat them over the head. So you're going to see some hats. I appreciate that. He said the best apparel is by far and away the Letterman jackets. Those are dope. It's crazy. It's crazy too. I'll let you in on a little secret. I was developing a LouieTeeNetwork Letterman's jacket when I saw theirs, and they shit was so saucy. I just sat down on mine and I was like, all right, I'll come back to my shit later. They made me feel bad about my Letterman jacket. They shit was so cold. I mean, it was cold-blooded. It's dope. I cannot lie. The Letterman's jacket, that shit's fire. It's hot and cold all at the same time. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Yeto. Greatly appreciate you. Let's see. Got another super chat here from B Harris 757. Thank you for the super chat, B Harris 757. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, for the people that think Ron is on the hot seat, Teflon Dan loves Gibbs and Gibbs loves / endorsed Ron. Remember, Ron went to Gibbs before he even took the job. There's a lot of that influence there, you know. And I think Gibbs gave Ron a little bit of pointers on how to handle Dan. I think I take it a step further for the people that think that I've seen so many people that think if Ron doesn't win this year, he's getting fired. I'm like, we watching the same thing unfold here? Because clearly, if Jay Gruden got 5-6 years here, what did he get? 5, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. If Jay Gruden got 6 years here and a second contract, and I granted, he made the playoffs 1 year and should have made it a second year in a row. But still, if Jay Gruden got 6 years here, you really think Ron Rivera is going to only get 3? Seriously? Remember, this is coach-centric. This is Ron Rivera out in front of everything. New name, Ron Rivera. Go out there, speak. All right? We don't know what the new name is going to be, but we're not the Washington Redskins no more. Hey, Ron, let them know. Not Dan Snyder, let them know. Ron, let them know. Hey, we're going to be the Washington football team. Hey, Ron, let them know. Hey, we got a new name. We ain't going to tell y'all what it is. Ron, let them know. This is the culture and the environment that Dan has created. Like, hey, I don't want any of the limelight. Ron, you handle it. And Ron's done a really good job between Ron and Doug and Jason Wright. These are the guys that are being pushed out into the forefront. Hey, y'all handle it. I ain't got nothing to say. The only time y'all gonna see me is when we do something big. We hire somebody. And I gotta speak. That's when y'all gonna see me. Other than that, it's Ron. You really think that all the things Ron is doing, all the different hats Ron wears in the organization, you really think Dan is just going to get rid of him so that he's got more responsibility? It ain't happening. And again, you get rid of Ron, who in the hell do you think you're going to hire? It ain't going to be somebody else with Ron's chops. That's for damn sure. Remember, after they got rid of Jay Gruden, right? And then we had the train wreck of the rest of the season with old man Callahan as the coach. There were people within the industry telling other prospective coaches, i.e. Todd McShay, telling Urban Meyer, and I'm glad he told Urban Meyer, do not go to Washington. It's a death trap. That shit doesn't, you fire Ron Rivera, that doesn't go away. That sentiment only gets stronger. Okay? Mike Shanahan couldn't cut it there. Ron Rivera couldn't cut it there. What the hell makes you think you can get it done there? Mike Shanahan's a two-time Super Bowl winning coach. And Ron Rivera took a team to a Super Bowl. And neither one of them could cut it in Washington. They didn't even make it to the end of their contract. What makes you think you are different? You're special. He's not getting rid of Ron Rivera, even if we struggle this year. Now, if the bottom fell out of the season, and again, I keep trying to tell y'all this, 3-14 would get Ron Rivera fired after the season. We're not going 3-14. Ron doesn't do 2-14, 3-14. He doesn't do 4-12. He doesn't do 5-12. That's not Ron Rivera. You've seen what Ron's worst seasons in Washington, unless he gets to the very end after a long run and he runs out of gas, and it happens to the best of them. It happened to Andy Reid in Philadelphia. It happened to Ron at the end of his tenure in Carolina when Cam got hurt and you run out of gas, guys get injured, and it's just time. It's just time. The only way the bottom falls out of a team here, this team is too hungry. It's too many young players. It's just not going to happen. Ron isn't going to win less than 7 games. He's shown you that already. If we were going to win less than 7 games, last year would have been the year to do it. We dealt with so much last year. Hell, Ron's dealt with a lot since he's gotten here. The man had cancer in 2020, for God's sake. The man had cancer and had to deal with COVID all at the same time. You didn't know if somebody was going to come in the building and your immune system is already fighting like hell to keep you alive, and somebody bring COVID to your doorstep. He didn't know. And he was out here coaching. 2020, we dealt with a lot of injuries. We lost our damn athletic trainer. I kind of felt like that's when the season went to hell in the handbasket, if you want to be honest. And we still rallied and had a 4-game win streak after that. But we dealt with COVID. We dealt with injuries. We dealt with a murderer's row schedule. And we still won 7 games. And a lot of the losses, highly competitive. Could have went either way if we made plays on our end. There are only a couple of solid, stern ass whoopings that we took in 2021. The Buffalo game, and even that game, we spotted Buffalo 21, and then we rallied back and scored 14 unanswered. And I always bring this up. If Kendall Fuller catches that interception, we got a chance to tie that game up in 2021, and who knows what happens. But that was a sound thrashing. It was. It was a beating that we knew we were going to get. And we took it on the chin, like men. And that second Dallas game was a sound ass whooping. Coat shoes and hat tooken type of ass whooping. The kind you don't ever want to see happen against your most hated rival on the national stage, by the way. That's why we're not playing on Sunday night this year. We got our ass beat so bad, they said, don't bring your ass back here next year. And they had us in timeout too. I don't know if y'all realize it. They had us on Sunday Night Football timeout. We hadn't been on Sunday night in like 3 years. They finally let their guard down. That 2020 end of the season Philadelphia Eagles, game, that shit don't count. That was literally, there are no other games that have playoff implications. You are it. You are the de facto Sunday night. That shit doesn't count. We weren't invited. The Sunday night, they told them, hey, y'all got to take this game. The last time we were invited to Sunday night before that 2020 game, we weren't on in 2019. We weren't, let's see, what 2018? I don't think we were on in 2018. We might have been on in 2017. Let's look it up. Why not? Let's look it up. I'm going to look up Washington's schedule real quick. From 20, I know we weren't on Sunday night in 2019. So I don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Let's go to 2018. Let's see. 2019. We were not on in 2019. We were asked in 2019. And the league knew we were going to be asked. So they definitely didn't put us on in 19. Let's go to 2018. See what we got for 2018. 2018, we were not on in 2018. I didn't think we were. I think we were on in 17, though. 17 was Kirk's last year. I think we were on in 17. If not, I know we were on in 16 because Kirk outdueled Aaron Rodgers in 2016 on a Sunday night. But let's see. We were on Sunday Night Football in 2017 versus the Raiders. We dominated the Raiders. Remember, we had that 2-1 start to the season. And we destroyed the Raiders on on a Sunday night, and we were all excited. Remember, we had the Monday night game the next week versus the Chiefs, and everybody got hurt. Jonathan Allen got hurt. Matt Ioannidis got hurt. Josh Norman got hurt. And the receiver, the guy with no shirt on, Terrell Pryor, got hurt. Everybody got hurt that game. And Josh Doxson had a chance to catch the touchdown that would have given us the lead. Instead, he didn't complete the catch. And the Alex Smith, and still the defense had a chance to send the game to overtime. They let Alex Smith race down the field in like 27 seconds and get them in the field goal range to beat us. But that was a great start to the season. Remember, week 1, we beat Sean McVay. That was his first game in LA. And we go to LA. We didn't know how they were going to be. That was week 2, actually. We lost in week 1. We went to LA, beat the Rams. Mason Foster had a huge interception to seal the victory in that week 2 game at LA. Then we go to back home and destroy the Raiders on a Sunday night. That was a fun game. That was a lot of fun, beating the Raiders up. Chris Thompson had a massive night in that game. The defense was outstanding, and we had confidence going into that Monday night. Remember, the Chiefs were undefeated. That was a big Monday night game. 2-1 Washington versus 3-0 Kansas City, and it went down to the wire. Good times, man. Good times. Didn't last very long, but good times. The air went out of the sails of that season quickly due to injuries. But nonetheless, we hadn't been invited to Sunday night since 2017. Prior to that Sunday night, winner takes, well, it wasn't winner takes all. The Eagles weren't going anywhere. Only we had a chance to go to the playoffs. But 2021 was the first time we actually got invited to Sunday Night Football. And that's what we decided to do. And they promptly said, see, that's why we didn't invite your ass to Sunday Night Football right there. So it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, it is what it is. So for those of you who think Ron's going somewhere, he's not. Period. Thank you for the super chat, B Harris 757. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, 47-year-old and became a fan in 1980, so I got to see all the chips. But damn, Lou, your narrative on the team's history just demolished those old memories. All good, though. Hashtag change the narrative. Look, man, I'm just telling you what I lived through. I'm just telling you my story. That's it. I tell no lies. Y'all know that. I give it to you straight, no chaser, man. This is what it's been. You've been a fan of this team. This is what you've had to endure. And I don't want to be any older than I am. I just wish we'd been better, in my lifetime to this point. But I don't envy anyone that has lived through the championship years. It was a great time to be a fan, but I love where I was born and the era that I grew up in. I just wish we were better. I just wish we were better. And I don't know if history would have been different had Jack Kent Cooke left the team to his son instead of just not leaving it to his son and then allowing, Daniel Snyder and a group of investors to bid on the team and ultimately buy it. I don't know if anything would have turned out different. The fact that Jack Kent Cooke didn't think highly enough of his son to leave him the team might have said all we needed to know. But whatever the case may be, I just wish they were better. That's when this thing because even though we sucked for most of my adolescence, we weren't that far removed from the greatness of 91. So you were still holding on to, Gibbs retired in 92. We went to the playoffs in 92. So you're like, we're not that far removed. You're 5 years removed from going to the playoffs and 6 years removed from winning the Super Bowl. You weren't that far removed from greatness. So you're thinking to yourself, and then like I told you, one of those years, I don't know if I can't remember if it was 96 or 97. But we started like 7-0. And we ended up finishing like 8-8, or we started like 6-0. But you kept waiting, and then 99 happened. But coincidentally enough, that's when the sale of the team was completed. And, things were never the same. That next year, Snyder and his cronies came in. They took over the organization. Snyder quickly, said Brad Johnson isn't my quarterback and inserted Jeff George, and the rest is history, man. I mean, it was rough. Growing up, it was rough. We sucked. Every game I expected us to lose when I was a kid. When we won, it was like a party. Like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a surprise. We sucked. Every year we would play Dallas and we would be like double-digit underdogs against the Cowboys. Because remember, that was their heyday. They were good. So, there would be those games like the one with Heath Schuler. We were like 14-point underdogs and we go into Big D and win. Those would happen every so often, but we sucked, man. We were awful. And we didn't draft well either. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. Mr. Yero, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mr. Yero, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Mr. Yero, who writes, super chat for Ass-tastic. By the way, let's smash that like. Hey, man, cheers to Ass-tastic. I mean, that's what we were. Keeping it a buck, man. Y'all heard the man. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so. It's over 300 and some odd of you out there. If you haven't already hit the like button, let me see what the number looks like. There are currently over 380 of you out there. Only 184 likes. So again, we're capable. Hit the like button if you haven't already hit it, and continue to help this channel grow. So if you haven't subbed up, sub it up. Let's see. $1.6 Devil Doc. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, $1.6 Devil Doc writes, prepare for light speed. No ludicrous speed. Go wide receivers. I'm telling you, there's a lot that Scott Turner's going to have to play with. They did this intentionally, right? Adding all of this team speed and getting faster on offense. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? Okay, we got all of this speed. What are you going to do with it? And I'm anxious to see, because in the past when we had these receivers and we didn't have speed, I still felt like guys were wide open all over the football field and we just weren't getting them the football. So now that we have legitimate speed and a guy that can get them the football, that can air it out, and Wentz throws a beautiful deep ball. Okay, that's one of the things he does do well, is he throws a deep ball that he can drop in the bucket. So if we get some guys over the top, I think the outcome could be different this year. So definitely looking forward to it. Let's see. Let's see. All right, got a super chat here from Beloved Rain 44. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Beloved Rain 44. who writes, "Hey Lou, are we getting another uniform?" That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. So remember, Jason Wright said when they first released the unis and the helmets, and the full rebrand was out for public consumption, one of the things he said shortly thereafter was that they were going to have another uniform and that the fans would have input on it somehow, some way. All right. I don't know if that was just him talking in the excitement of the moment. And, you can say anything when everything's going on right there. And, something like that. Look, we're going to have some fans that are like, 3-year-olds where you can't tell them something and then don't do it. And they're not going to forget. And they're going to keep reminding you like, hey, remember you said we're going to have another, like, I don't care if we don't have another uniform. We got 3 of them now. That's more than what we used to have. It was, hey, are we wearing the burgundy tops or are we wearing the white tops? That was pretty much the extent of what we were going to do with our uniforms. Now, we can get freaky if we want. I don't know if they will. Again, I don't know if they're going to cross color those combinations and really spicy things up, because they could. Everything that we've seen to this point is all uniform, one color. It's all white. It's all black. It's all burgundy. But it's allowed. You can take a burgundy top and match it with a white bottom. You can take a burgundy top and match it with a white bottom, right? And you can take a black bottom and match it with a burgundy top. Like, that's allowed. But I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I don't think that is what they're going to do. Now, I don't know if they're going to, interchange and intermingle the white and burgundy. I don't see them interjecting black into any other uniform. I just see black being its own standalone uniform. I don't see them taking the black tops and putting on burgundy bottoms with them. And I don't know how that would look anyway, because each uniform is different. They've got different things and setups on the uniform. So I don't even know if that would be something that would look dope anyway. But I said all of that to say this: whether they get a new uniform or not, and what would that alternate uniform look like? What color would it even be? Like, what would you even do there? I don't know. I don't even know what you would do with another uniform. My guess is no. Now, Jason Wright said, and if you recall, he said, we're going to have another uniform and you guys are going to vote on it and this, that, and the third, and you guys are going to help create it. I don't believe that. I think that was in the haste and the excitement of the moment. You just say things out of your mouth because it sounds good. I don't see that happening. We'll see. You never know. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny, writes, Letterman jacket is fire. Facts. In regards to the unis, I prefer the all black joints. In regards to a mascot, I see a burgundy Cobra Commander. Salutes. It'll be interesting to see what they actually do with the mascot. I told you guys I could care less about mascot, the fight song, all of that stuff. Some of that stuff is nostalgic for some of you, and you need that to feel like some sense of normalcy, and that's fine. For me, I could give 2 shits about a mascot, a fight song, any of that. I just want to win football games. All right. But it is going to be interesting. Again, interesting versus important, as a wise man once said. I think the fight song and the a mascot, all of those things are interesting. What's important is, can we win football games? That's what's important. So that's what I'm looking forward to. We'll see what happens, though. The Letterman jacket is fire. I haven't met one person. They'd be like, man, this uniform is garbage. Them jackets, though, them shit's clean. Like, it's hard to deny that. The jackets are clean. The all black unis, I think most people are excited. Not all. I've talked to some people that can't stand the black uniforms. One, it's not a part of our history. There's a lot of people that can't let go of the past. Like, look, you got to move on. Like, The Redskins aren't coming back. Okay. They're not coming back. It's gone. All right. A lot. And we didn't ask for this, but they're gone and they're not coming back. So you get the purists out there that say, and then I saw somebody the other day. He was like, well, you know, these black uniforms, everybody's got a black uniform. Nobody else has burgundy and gold. Everyone's got an alternative black uni, you know, the Raven. And then, you know, he listed some teams and he's not wrong. A lot of teams have all black unis, you know, as an alternate uniform. And then there's some teams that's a part of their color scheme. Like Jacksonville has an all black uniform. That's a part of their color scheme. New Orleans has an all black uniform. That's a part of their color scheme. Then there's the teams like Baltimore that primarily don't wear all black, but they have all black uniforms as an alt uni. You know what I'm saying? And there are plenty of other teams, we can go down the list, that have all black uniforms in the league. And he's like, everyone has one of those, but nobody has burgundy and gold. And I'm like, while true, you can't deny all black is dope. You can't deny it. Just like a lot of teams around the league have all white. That doesn't mean our shit wasn't clean. When we wore white on white, woo, you better watch yourself. We was clean. So I think a lot of people like the black uniforms, like the idea of wearing the black uniforms. I've heard this, you know, thrown out there, and I tend to agree with this. What would be dope? And we won't see that this year unless we're good back into the season, where we've got 2 opportunities to turn what could be normal games into primetime games. They left week 16 against the Giants, or week 15, I think it was, against the Giants, open to be flexed into a primetime spot if we're good. And I don't think it's just if we're good. The Giants also have to be good. If the Giants are ass and we're good, or vice versa, I think they're just going to make it a regular game. And then in week 18 versus Dallas, obviously that game has the potential to be flexed into Sunday Night Football as well. So will be interesting to see if we could get a night game, just a night game, period. It doesn't have to be Sunday night. It could be Thursday night. It could be, you know, Sunday night, Monday night. We don't have a home game on primetime TV this year. We don't have a home game. The 2 prime timers that we have are both on the road, at Chicago, at Philly. So in no instance are we going to have on the All Blacks at the crib at night to set the stage. That's where the All Blacks probably look their crispiest, is at night, home game, raucous crowd, and you wear the all black unis. And I said this, and I don't know if they're going to do this, but I hope they do. If you're going to rock the All Blacks, the end zone has to change from all burgundy with the yellow Commanders font to all black with the yellow Commanders or gold Commanders font. Like, you have to do that. And I think they're smart enough to understand that. So imagine the stadium, and they could even do it like Penn State, where they do the whiteout. You could even do a blackout game at night. Like, that's the shit you do when you're good, though. You can't be 3-8 and want to tell the fans, show up in black, kiss my ass. I ain't showing up in shit. Okay. Now you're 8-3. You get to call the shots. Hey, it's a blackout game. Show up with your black gear. Okay. Everybody all black, dressed in all black like the Omen. You know what it is. We looking to catch a body tonight. We're all black. Now I'm on board with that. But the league said, hey, pipe down. Okay. Y'all are cheeks. We put y'all on Sunday night. Y'all embarrassed us. Y'all ain't even getting a home game on primetime television. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm not mad at all. Thank you for the super chat. Big Money Sonny. D92. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. D92 writes, Lou, what's up, my boy? What's good with you? Says, who would you say is the best receiver in each division? I got Terry, of course, in the NFC East for the fact of mediocre quarterback play, but the AFC East is a toss-up with Cheetah and Diggs. Well, it's Cheetah. I mean, he enters that division as the best receiver in the the AFC East, even though Diggs has done it in that division for multiple years. And just 2 years ago, he led the league in receiving yards. Excuse me. And I think in receptions as well. But Tyreek Hill's that dude. So I think it's Cheetah. But I think after his first year in Miami, when they're not able to get him the ball like he was able to get it in Kansas City, I think it becomes Stephon Diggs. But right now, I think it's Tyreek Hill. That said, you said in every division. Let's go through it real quick. Our division, I'm biased, but I also think it's the truth. It's Terry. You'll have some people that, it's AJ Brown. Nah, AJ Brown ain't better than Terry McLaurin, but go right ahead. Knock yourself out. It's Terry in the NFC East. In the NFC North, it's Justin Jefferson. In the NFC West, it's Cooper Kupp. DeAndre Hopkins. I guess that's a little bit of recency biased, but I love Cooper Kupp, man. The best part of waking up's the Rams, Cooper Kupp. I'm a Cooper Kupp guy through and through. Always have been, always will be. But DeAndre Hopkins, when healthy, problem. But I'm gonna go with Cooper Kupp for now. NFC South. It's got to be Mike Evans. We like to shit on Mike Evans when we talk about the best receivers in football. He never gets mentioned, but yet he's the only NFL receiver in history to start a career off with. I think, what is he? Is he on 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start a career? I think that's what he's on right now. Dude is phenomenal. It's Mike Evans in the NFC South. Go to the AFC. We just talked about it. AFC East is Tyreek Hill for me. AFC South, it is Brandon Cooks. I know some people would say it's Michael Pittman Jr. It's Brandon Cooks. You don't think so? Go Google him. All right, stat check it, if you will. It's Brandon Cooks. You go to the AFC North, and we can't do that after 1 year, right? We can't make Jamar Chase the best receiver in that division after 1 year, can we? The Ravens don't have anybody. The Steelers don't have anybody. The Browns have Amari Cooper now, but is he better than Jamar Chase? Hell no. After 1 year, I think you got to give it to Jamar Chase. That's crazy, but I think you got to give it to Jamar Chase after a year. I usually like to make dudes prove it, but I already know what that young lion is all about. Okay. And then the AFC West, it was Tyreek Hill. He's since vacated. So now who takes over the crown? Guess it's Davante Adams, who just came in. One GOAT leaves and another one enters. Denver has some talent, but nobody at the level of Davante Adams. The Chargers have Keenan Allen, but he's not better than Davante Adams. And the Chiefs don't have anybody on his level at the receiver position. So, yeah, it's Davante Adams. So there you have it, the best receiver in each division. Yeah, that's interesting stuff. Thank you for the super chat, D92. Let's see. Let's see where we left off at. All right, here we go. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Abdallah, writes, "Hey, Lou, I remember before the season started, I complained to you about the speed of our corners. By the way, how will we address linebacker, please?" So here's the thing. the speed of our corners. It is what it is. William Jackson III can run. Kendall Fuller can run. None of our other corners are fast. Corn Elder isn't fast. Danny Johnson he's fast enough. And Benjamin St. Juste isn't a blazer. But and you see what they like at the cornerback position. What we do have is length. William Jackson III is a long corner. So is Benjamin St. Juste. Even the kid we just drafted in the 7th round is a longer corner. You know, even though he's only 6 feet, he's a longer 6-foot corner. Not the fastest in the world, but he's a longer corner. So they like length at the cornerback position. How you make up for lack of speed is just keeping everything in front of you. So I'm not too concerned about the lack of speed. I think we got enough speed at corner. I'm not really too concerned about that. Our outside corners can both run. Linebacker depth is an issue. There's no way around that. Even Ron has admitted that himself. Like he said, I still want another veteran linebacker on this roster. I'm like, oh shit, here comes the AJ Klein or some shit, some ex-Carolina Panther that he's familiar with coming back around. And we'll see. That's all I'm going to say is we'll see what they decide to do. There's nothing they can do to make us feel any more comfortable. If they bring in a veteran, that veteran is going to be on the same level as David Mayo. It's not, if not worse. Like there's nothing they can do unless there's some kind of cut of a linebacker that we don't see coming, or they decide to kick the tires on a Quan Alexander or something like that, which I don't think they're going to do. Unless something like that happens, there's no way that we're going to actually upgrade the linebacker position to the point that we're satisfied. It's just what it is. We just got to stay healthy at that position. That's one of those positions where you say, hey, we can't afford it. Hey, Injury Reaper, please spare us. That's all you can do is beg for mercy. We just don't have it at linebacker. Abdella, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Abdella, who writes, is a possible trade for linebacker imminent? I'm pissed. Nah, they're not trading for a linebacker. Again, the only way we end up with a linebacker is if a guy gets cut as a surprise cut, and it's right in our wheelhouse, or they wait until teams start trimming down that roster and they see a guy that they like and they pounce on him. So let's say there's a surprise cut from, because you know they're going to slow play the rosters like they did last year. So you go from 90 to 85, from 85 to 80, and then you go from 80 to 53. So let's say in that 85 to 80 cut down, a surprise veteran linebacker gets cut. But when I say veteran, he's only 27 years old and they like this guy. That might be a guy that they pursue. Or even the 80 to 53 cut. There could be a guy that gets cut and lost in the sauce there. And they say, you know what? We got a spot here on our roster for a linebacker. And they go and get a guy. But they're not trading for anyone. And whatever they do, I don't think it's going to satisfy you. I think that's going to be another off-season thing. And who knows? We may get to the end of this season and we may be ranting and raving about the linebackers that we do have. Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis may totally change the way you view them and the linebacker position. And you might be like, man, we just need to add one more dude, but I love our linebackers now. Who knows? We'll see. Let's see. All right. So that, I think, was the last super chat. Let me make sure I didn't miss one. Sometimes my monitor zips up and I can miss a super. Okay, no, I didn't miss anything. We're good. So that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. I greatly appreciate you guys chopping it up with the kid tonight. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys next week. I will not be in the office until probably Tuesday. I'll be out of the office enjoying Memorial Day weekend with the fam. And so I did leave y'all a little bit of content for y'all to enjoy, to hold y'all over until I get with y'all again next week. So be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, you know what it is. I am a Washington fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Washington spirit will never die. Washington spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail. Post up and take command. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Y'all know what it is. Y'all saw they brought back that hashtag, right? HTTC. Hail to the Commanders. I don't know how I feel about that. I know they wanted to kind of stick with tradition and, you know, take command was already somebody else's thing. So they kind of wanted to just do their own thing. But yeah, it is what it is. Take command, hail to the Commanders, whatever you decide to do, that's on you. I'm going to stick with the take command. I like that. So, but you know, if you're on Twitter, if you want the little emblem to show up, you got to use HTTC. So anyway, I digress. You guys enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, and we will reconvene next week. Look forward to chopping it up with you guys. But again, left y'all a little something to hold y'all over the weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But until then, you guys take care of yourselves. Mob, you know what it is. Stay up. One, holla. God bless, and good night.